A very good morning to you. Welcome to you from TalkSport 2 this Monday morning. It's bright and early, and England are right up against it in Chennai on day 3 of this second test match of this 4-test match series. England, of course, 1-0 up, but staring down the barrel in this second match, which would level the series at 1-1. It's all up against them today in the heat and humidity of Chennai. They're going to need to pull something quite miraculous out of the bag for this game not to be almost through their fingers by the end of the day. But Joe Root and his team have produced special performances before. Can they do it again? We'll find out during the day here on TalkSport 2. Very good morning to you. I'm Andrew McKenna. We're 15 minutes away from play getting underway on day 3, and Chennai looks another belting day. Blue sky, there is some very high cloud, but it's going to be hot and humid and sticky again for the England players. And that's probably a fairly apt description of the situation they find themselves in. Going into today, they trailed by 249 runs. When day 2 started, England were up against it then, as India were batting at 300 for 6, but they were bowled out in their second innings for 329, but England rolled out in less than 60 overs for 134. India in their second innings 54 for 1 second time around, so 249 they trail by, with India with plenty of power to add. Delighted to say that with me is the former England fast bowler, our very own Darren Gough. Good morning, Dazzler.
Good morning, everyone. Really looking forward to today's play. Listen, England are against it, there's no doubt about it, but I think it'll tell us a lot about this team, the mentality of the team, and how they go about their business today. I think it's a massive, massive day for them.
We get the pictures from about 45 minutes, an hour before play starts. We get to see an awful lot of the warm-up. We see conversations on the outfield. How do England pitch this today? When they've had their huddle, what is going to be said? Because they know what they need to do, but actually, how do you go about phrasing that in a way that frankly doesn't sound ridiculous?
Well, it's basically you're going to just say to the boys, listen, we've not been at the races so far in this game. We've totally been outplayed by India. People talk about the toss of the coin and things, but day one messed it all up for England, the way they bowled on that day one. They weren't quite there. India showed high skill factor throughout with a bat, with Rohit Sharma, Rishabh Pant was excellent. They got 329 on the board, and that looks like a big score, didn't it? But if England would have got to that score of 200 and just been a little bit behind on it, if they would have bowled better, we'd have been talking about it's a one-innings game, but we're not. We're totally out of it. They've got a lead of 249, but the way Chris Silverwood has got to go about it today and say, right, we've got to be on it. This is a massive day for us moving forward for this tour. They're going to come at us. They're going to try and take us down. Rohit Sharma's going to play a few shots. They've got Kohli, who's going to, once he gets in, if he gets in, remember he's on a pair, and Pujara, they're going to be free with their shots. But we've got to keep fighting, and we've got to look as though we're still trying to win this game, even though it's almost impossible. That's what I would want from my team today. I don't want them going through the motions. I don't want to end up with India on that pitch at tea time being 4 or 5 down with a lead of around 450. That would be an embarrassment on this pitch. So England have got to go to still try and win this cricket match.
The important thing to remember is that after this, there is then a week before the next match in Ahmedabad. So under normal circumstances, the chances are the Indian players would then head off home, have 2 or 3 days off, and therefore have a bit of a relax mentally, have some downtime. And that would probably mean they'd be looking to push on and maybe even win this game today. Of course, with biosecure bubbles, Virat Kohli can't go home and see his relatively new baby. And therefore, from their point of view, if they've got to stay in the bubble for the entire period, there's almost a sense for, well, we might as well keep playing cricket because we can't do a great deal else at the moment. So England might find themselves actually stuck out there longer than they might have done in ordinary circumstances.
Well, realistically, Macca, England have got to bowl them out. And I think they will bowl them out, actually, on this. There should be enough happening in the wicket. If India are going to play the way they normally play for us to get to get another 9 wickets at some point today. I think they will want to have a ball. I know there's plenty of time left in the game, but I think India would want to have a ball tonight. And if they're still batting, obviously an hour after tea, and have a good hour at England, then they get a crack with a new ball, and obviously they get Ashwin and Patel to have a little roll as well. So I expect them, unless they're bowled out, to be batting probably until an hour at the end of the play.
So it was a tough day for England, day 2 in Chennai in this second Test match, but there was still some fabulous cricket played.
Comes Moeen Ali, bowls a beautiful off break. That's out stumped, I think. Ben Folkes is so sure.
Yeah, this is just outstanding from Ben Folkes.
Oh, that's a terrible bit of bowling, but he's got a wicket with it. Unbelievable.
It's definitely a benefit game.
That's under 14 cricket.
The last 5 minutes in cricket, I mean, what is that?
Rishabh Pant on strike now to Moeen Ali. Oh, it's a full toss. Oh, he hit it straight back at him and threw his hands for 4.
It's been feathered through, and he is out, caught behind second ball. So 329 all out.
Rory Burns had a disappointing first Test match. He's on strike now. There are 3 slips, and he's struck on the pad. There's an appeal for leg before wicket. It was surely heading down the leg side. He's given it.
But it was a big wicket to get one with a new ball, especially when at the other end you've got one of the best spinners around in world cricket today, Mark Nicholas.
Now Dom Sibley goes down on the sweep. It's going to be taken at short leg.
Well, they've gone for a review.
Sibley's walking off.
He's walking off. He's had enough.
Sibley knows that Sharin. Joe Ruta swept it to the leg side. Top edge. Caught it. Short backward square leg. Ashwin takes the catch, and England are in deep, deep trouble.
Change of attack.
Oh, and that's taken by short leg. Dan Lawrence has pushed it to short leg, and he's gone for 9, and India's terrific morning continues with a 4th wicket.
You don't want to go off and put the kettle on here, do you? You're going to miss something. Every single ball, something's happening.
Ashwin once more tosses.
That one up, and he's bowled Stokes.
Oh, Ben Stokes is furious with this.
Here's Ashwin. Beg your pardon. Almost did me. Mohammad Siraj into the attack for the first time. Right arm, quick
Down the leg side, and he's taken.
Wow.
Oh my goodness me, what a catch. Rishabh Pant with his left hand.
Rishabh Pant, wow. Should we call him Superman?
Akshar Patel, left arm round to the left-handed Moeen Ali. It's edged off the keeper's gloves, and Rahane takes the catch on the rebound at slip. Ashwin goes in, bowls that one straighter, clipped into the onside. Rohit Sharma takes the catch. England 106 for 8 as Stone goes for a single.
Here's Sharma round the wicket. It's out. What a super catch by Rishabh Pant, diving away to his left side. Stuart Broad now takes strike to R. Ashwin and sweeps and is bowled. England are bowled out for 134.
And Shubman Gill is coming down the pitch to Moeen Ali and has put him over wide long on for 6.
No, that's very close to LBW. In fact, it's out LBW. Jack Leach has got his man.
The batsmen look at each other, walk down to have a little chat, and that will do it for day 2 of this Test match. India are 54 for 1 after 18 overs of their second innings. The lead is 249. Yep, that was day 2. Live here on TalkSport 2. What has day 3 got coming up for us? We'll find out. Play will be underway in about 6 minutes' time. Now, just one thing to quickly address at this point. A lot of discussion yesterday about the Rohit Sharma LBW decision, or non-decision, when the standing umpire decided that there was a shot played, and England sent it up to the third umpire and the DRS system. Now, the reason to mention this now, I've read in a couple of articles overnight, it's been written up as the third umpire also decided that a shot had been played, and therefore the sort of the outrage, if you like, was a little bit more. Now, Darren Gough, we've been talking about this. We actually heard the conversation between the officials yesterday. We are of the opinion that the third umpire cannot go against the decision of the standing umpire, because the DRS man is basically there to use the technology, and deciding whether a shot is played or not is an opinion, therefore. So we're of the view that actually once the standing umpire has decided there was a shot played, the third umpire has to stay with that. Is that how we're seeing this?
Well, absolutely, 100%. That's the first question he asked him. Are you saying he played a shot? And his answer was yes. So that takes that out of it. He cannot overrule that as the third umpire. He's there to look at the review system as far as the tracking, the ball tracking, is it in the stumps, and everything that goes with it. So yes, you told me that this morning, Macca. I was slightly surprised because the first question to him was, do you think he played a shot? And he went, yes. End of. That's the conversation.
And Jared Kimber, our analyst, obviously you look at a lot of the statistical and also the scientific side of this. Actually, we see around the world in different sports, they have different ways of working. But actually, as we just said there with Goffey, the third umpire is there not for opinions. He is there for technological fact, and therefore that's quite a big important thing to say to him. You then can't bring in a second opinion, if you like, once it gets thrown upstairs.
Yeah, I think one of the things that perhaps people don't quite get...
Oh, sorry, Jared, your mic's not on at the moment, so let's try again now.
Shall I? Am I back? Can you hear me?
No, not at the moment. So I think at the moment we've got what's called some kind of a Jared Kimber filter. So we'll bring in Jared in just a second. Go on, let's give it a go now. See if it happens. See if it's working. No, it's still not working. Fantastic. Okay then. So Darren Goff, in terms of how it works and whatever, therefore we think they've actually got it right on this occasion. But let's be brutally honest about this. There wasn't a shot played, was there?
Nope, no shot. Well, there was no shot played, but it was cleverly disguised, and it's hard to go against that. He obviously got done with the flight and the speed of the delivery, and when he went there, he got there with his pad first and thought, and he came back down late with his pad, but because he was just behind it, it's the thing they used to do when I first started. If you're not going to play a shot, look as though you're going to play a shot. That's the art of it, and I thought he disguised it, Rohit Sharma, really, really well, and it would have been hard for the umpire to say he didn't play a shot on that. We'd have been debating that if he would have given him out for no shot.
Go on, Jared.
Let's see if this
No,
one
we've
works.
run out of time, sorry.
I think one thing that cricket fans don't understand is that we are reviewing the decision. We are not reviewing actually what happened on the pitch. So what we are doing in cricket is, this is one thing where I think it's slightly better than VAR, but that also brings in confusion with umpires' call, and in situations like this, where the standing umpire has probably made a mistake there, and the third umpire could just say, look, we're going to change that. But that's not what we're doing. We are reviewing the decision. And in this particular case, as Goffey said, because it is a opinion-led thing, I think they're just saying there's no reason for the third umpires to get involved with that. I think the problem with the system at the moment is too many of the third umpires are not specialists in being third umpires, and they don't do it all the time. They don't understand the technology. As we've seen in this test, he didn't even understand the protocols that he had to go through. He made 2 protocol errors on 1 DRS. In the American sports, they have specialist umpires. That's all they do is third umpire reviews, and it also goes back to a studio way on the other side of the world with more computer power. We're trying to do this out the back of a truck, Macca. It's not quite the same, and that's why we're getting a few mistakes.
Very interestingly, obviously I also work in rugby union, and in the last sort of 6-8 months or so, they've actually brought in a system whereby the leading referees, if they haven't got a game that weekend, they might be given the job of being the TV official. So it's interesting that actually they're now going that way to keep them in action, if you like. Right, the players are out in the middle, and it is going to be Moeen Ali with the first over of the day. He is going to send it down. Interestingly, seen in a couple of articles overnight that Moeen Ali is due to be heading home after this particular test match for a rest. Now, it might strike you as a bit odd. Well, hang on, he's only played 1 match, but of course he was in Sri Lanka, he was in India. It wasn't his fault he picked up COVID and was therefore unavailable, so it's probably one of those that he was due to have anyway. But he's going to open up the bowling. He has bowled 7 overs, 2 maidens, 0 for 19. He's going to be bowling to Rohit Sharma, who will be resuming 25 not out. And in he comes for the first ball of the morning, and that doesn't bounce a great deal. And Rohit Sharma, with an awful lot of time, turns that round to square leg for a single, Goffey.
I don't know whether that was a looser, but that was very, very slow from Moeen Ali. He really gave that a little bit of loop. He had so much time, didn't he, Rohit Sharma, just to help it on its way around the corner for the first run of the morning. 55 for 1 here on TalkSport 2. Yeah, strange one, isn't it, Moeen Ali? Waited for his opportunity to get back into the England side. Get some overs under his belt, just get a little bit of rhythm, and then he's off home to rest up for a couple of weeks before the one-dayers. So, it will confuse a lot of people, that. It's going to create a huge debate.
Here we go then with Pujara. He's taken guard, he's tapped down a couple of bits of loose stuff on the pitch, and now he takes guard. Slip, short leg, 2 catching mid-wickets. Moeen Ali comes in and then aborts before he even gets into the gather, before the delivery stride. In he comes. Right arm over that, turns a little bit, goes down the leg side. Well taken by Ben Folkes, the wicketkeeper, and it's a very good morning for the first time. Gareth Batty joining us in commentary as well.
A very good morning, Macca, Goffey, and all the listeners who've got up early to listen to England, hopefully take some early wickets.
Moeen Ali goes in. Pujara clips it into the onside, not a million miles away from Ollie Pope at short leg, but it does beat him. There is no run on this occasion. So for you, Gareth, what are you wanting to see from the England bowlers today?
I think much of the same of how they finished proceedings yesterday.
Moeen is in, off the back foot is Pujara, no run.
I felt like Leach and Ali bowled well together. Felt like the partnership was starting to work. I think they put these two batsmen under some pressure, and you just feel if you stick with that good process of putting under pressure, putting good balls in the surface, they'll get some rewards.
Moeen goes in, Pujara comes down the pitch and plays it to the straighter of the 2 mid-wickets, which is Dan Lawrence, and there is no run. Just a single from the 5 balls so far this morning. Who are we going for at the other end, by the way, gents? Who do you reckon will get the call? We'll find out shortly as Moeen goes in. Right arm over, it's flicked into the leg side. Oh, now, Ollie Pope has done very well at short leg. He's flicked it back.
He dropped his bat.
Pujara has got into a tangle. Folkes has whipped off the bails, and we are going up to Anil Chowdhury, the 3rd umpire.
Oh dear, sending the clowns there. I mean, he went to get back, and I think he jammed his bat into the floor and dropped it. It's just whether he got his foot back over the line.
Well, let's see the replay. He reaches out,
dear.
Stretches, and his bat has got a very, very straight corners, and it jams on the line, stops, it hasn't crossed the line, he drops it, he's then trying to make his ground with his right foot and his left hand. Ben Folkes whips off the bail and his foot's still in the air.
1 frame back.
That's going to be out.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Forward, 1 frame forward. Yeah, you can freeze it. 1 frame forward.
The good thing
freeze it
is,
now. Yeah.
we have the zing bails
big
for this
screen,
one.
please.
So you can see when the wicket is broken. And the decision from Anil Chowdhury is out. Fred Carnos has struck in the first over of the morning. England have a breakthrough. It is a comical run out for Pujara. You will not see many like this ever, ever, ever again. But it's that kind of game for England. Ollie Pope, brilliant work at short leg. Pujara gets his bat jammed in the ground, drops it short, and Ben Folkes whips off the bails. Well, all donations gratefully received from England's point of view.
Well, England are switched on, and it's good to see, actually. They need early wickets. We saw early wickets falling on the second day, but that Pujara will be absolutely gutted. He came down the wicket, got done in the flight a little bit, popped up to Ollie Pope. He actually got his back just about behind the line, but it jammed in and he dropped it, and then he just couldn't get his foot back over the line. And Folkes, as he has been the whole game, was there, ready to pounce, and he's gone.
It's brilliant. You were bang on, Goffey. It was like the circus, that, wasn't it? Comical.
You don't often see that, do you? Listen, Pujara, we all know he loves to bat. He loves to be out there batting time. He would have liked to have been out there today and get some runs under his name. Instead, he's back in the hutch. 7 runs he went for Pujara, and it brings Kohli to the crease bats. He's on a pair.
Yeah, a massive wicket, Pujara. But if you look at him, his reaction, he sort of looks at Folkes with a bit of a wry smile. He thinks he's got back in.
Yeah. But Popey, you could see for Popey at short leg, he knew straight away, didn't he?
Yeah.
He went, oh, nice, that's out.
Comical of errors.
Give him wicket. Good for England. 55 for 2 now, India.
Rohit will be on strike, 'cause that was the final ball of the very eventful first over. So Kohli's out in the middle at the non-strikers' ends. And here we go then. It is going to be Jack Leach. England opening up with spin both ends. And Rohit, 26 not out. Kohli on a pair.
Saying that if you were Virat Kohli, if you had the choice.
In goes Jack Leach. Rohit turns it around to short fine leg. There's no run.
It would be to get in early, wouldn't it? I know he's playing for his team. They've got a big lead, but if he was being selfish here, he would have said, I'd rather be in early here, rather than waiting an hour and a half when they get into some kind of rhythm.
In comes Leach then around the wicket, slip in place as Rohit plays from the crease out on the offside. No run.
To be fair, he's probably taking a pair and his team winning just so he stays as captain, because there's a huge amount of pressure on him with Rahane doing such a good job stepping in Australia. He's obviously always going to play from his batting skills, but people are questioning his captaincy.
Leach is in, and Rohit is coming down the pitch, and it takes the outside portion of the bat, drops short of Ben Stokes at slip, and it's an event at the moment. Every morning the TV company are showing the replay of Pujara running himself out again, which is, let's be honest, never not going to be funny. That will be on every TV clip show from now till about Christmas. Rohit is turning this one on the onside. There is no run. It'll be on social media in seconds, that one.
The worst thing about it is he was laughing. He actually thought he got back in, because he wouldn't have been laughing if he thought he was out. There's no way.
It was just so ridiculous. The bat, it was the bottom corner of the bat just wedged in the ground. Leach in once again, a little bit leg side-ish. Worked, well, it was uppish for a little bit towards Joe Root at mid-on, but it landed a couple of metres short of him, and safety. It's 55 for 2 England. India, the lead is 250. England already in trouble, but they've taken one with them today. Leach in, Rohit solidly forward. And there's no run once again, and that is the end of the over here on TalkSport 2. 2 have gone down in the day. England have won so far, and you can tell from the noise, Virat Kohli will be facing the next delivery of the match. Gareth Batty and Darren Gough with me on commentary.
Yeah, I think from an England point of view, Virat Kohli facing his first ball to the off-spinner. Normally you wouldn't be saying that, but first innings, Don Bess in the first test match caught short leg. Moeen Ali, that beautiful ball this game, through the gate. You just think, you just feel that extra bit of pressure.
Well, he's been pushing at the off-spinner, hasn't he? That attacking line, you talk about bats outside off stump. In both games, he's pushed at the off-spinner early on in his innings, so that will definitely be the line. Just tempting him just to push at one, to hit a single onto the offside. I'd leave it open, bats even, and just let him push through one, get it in the line, take the risk. It's one run, isn't it?
Well, the field will be interesting here, because normally in this situation they might be quite deep, but just attack him. It's a short leg. There's 2 of the short straight mid wickets. Kohli goes deep in his crease, turns this one off of the stumps, out on the onside, and there's no run. And Moeen gets to have a little bit of a run here at Virat Kohli. 5 balls he faced in the first innings before he got one to absolutely rag at the Indian captain, and that one's taken a puff of dust, turns, bounces, takes him on the body out on the offside.
I think he's wary of that. You could see he's adamant he was going to play that late, wasn't he, Batsy? Let it come and let it turn into him. He's not pushing at that delivery from Moeen Ali outside off stump.
Moeen is in. Virat Kohli very solidly forward on that. Bat and pad close together, pushing back down the pitch.
He's showing lots of signs of being mortal. He looks genuinely massively under pressure and nervous out there. Almost tentative.
He looks at Moeen Ali. Moeen Ali starts in. Oh, that's a shortish ball that Virat Kohli has gone to basically flog into the leg side, but he's missed. It's hit him on the left leg, which is about a foot outside of leg stump, and very nearly balloons away on the offside. It's a man who's not in sync with his movements at the moment. Moeen comes in once again. It's outside of off stump. Virat forward, pushing into the offside. No run.
This is good bowling from Moeen Ali. The pressure is on Virat Kohli to try and get off that mark. Nobody wants a pair.
I wonder how many times Virat has bagged them in Test cricket. Moeen goes in. Virat Kohli very solidly forward to complete the over 21 gone of the innings. Kohli has faced 6 deliveries, which is one more than he managed in the first innings. India 55 for 2 here on TalkSport 2, where our analyst is Jared Kimber.
Macca, one thing I know from T20 cricket is that Virat Kohli prefers the ball spinning away from him rather than spinning into him. And it's very, very rare, obviously, for a batsman to feel that way. Almost all batsmen prefer the ball spinning into them. So I just had a look at in Test cricket, and CricViz have brought it up. He averages 101 in Test cricket when the ball spins away from him, and 51 when the ball spins in.
Is that because he's got out the last couple of times by off spin as well? That would have affected the stats?
No, I think it's been like that for a long time. I mean, that's a 50-run differential. That's not two wickets, is it? That's a bunch of wickets. He just doesn't like the ball spinning into him as much as he does it going away. Is there a technical reason, do you think that?
Oh, Rohit Sharma's got an absolute ripper from Jack Leach. The bails have been whipped off by Ben Foakes, and Ben Foakes is nodding. He's walking down the pitch, nodding to the rest of the team, going, I've done him. I've got him on that occasion. He's brought Rohit forward. Now, Rohit doesn't look overly concerned. He never really moved at the crease, but did he drag that back foot? Guess what? We've got a stumping decision on Rohit Sharma, everybody.
Wow, Ben Foakes. I mean, if this is out, this is unbelievable wicket keeping.
First
it bounced,
view.
it turned.
First view. Foot is
Give me the reverse
out
angle, please.
of the ground because it's on the line. The question then is, does he manage to roll the toes back down to get something behind the line? We're now seeing a view from the other side. The bails have lit up.
Freeze. Can you zoom it further?
I reckon that's out.
Well, it's similar to the others that have been given not out, hasn't
Yes,
it, over
please.
the past couple of days?
Let's listen to Anil Chowdhury. What is he saying?
Keep rolling, nothing is behind. No, just go one frame back. Yeah, I'll let you know when to freeze.
Rohit is rolling his toes back, trying to get his
Give me the
foot,
previous one, that was better. Yeah,
trying to get his foot back down.
stand by.
Sounds like we've got a decision.
Freeze, yeah, nothing is behind, grounded. Go to the big screen. Out.
There we go. England have got Rohit Sharma stumped. Ben Foakes with a brilliant piece of work behind the stumps, and Rohit goes for 26, and it's now 55 for 3 India this morning. Jack Leach has the wicket. Ben Foakes has looked so sharp behind the stumps all game. He probably should have had him out stumped in the first innings as well. He's got him in the second innings, and England have taken 2 already this morning.
Is he a crowd in? There was a deathly silence there, wasn't he, at the game? Rohit Sharma going there from a brilliant bit of wicket keeping from Ben Foakes. He's coming to this side as he did in Sri Lanka, and his keeping has been immaculate. He's batted well, and he's given England a big boost here. 2 quick wickets this morning. India now 55 for 3. Yes, they've got a huge lead, but as I said, it's a big day this for England. They're going to go out there with the intention of bowling them out as quick as possible, create pressure, good body language, and get into some kind of rhythm. So it's a good start from England.
Yeah, Macca asked the question to you, Goffey, earlier. What do you want from your England team? Just this. 19 balls. The bowlers have bowled really nicely. Not getting carried away. It's only been 19 balls. But every ball's been on the button. It's been in a good area. It's been challenging of the batsman. The biggest thing, backed up. Ollie Pope at short leg, getting it into the keeper, getting us a bit of a run out. Brilliant piece of keeping from Ben Foakes there. The ball's actually bounced. He's taken it what would have been under his armpit. It's real bounce. It's a great take. Fundamentally started from the bowlers, bowling really well for 19 balls, backed up from the field. This is what we wanted from England. Brilliant start.
I was going to ask you a question about Ben Foakes then, and what it is he does for the bowlers. But I'd written down Rahane in my notepad as the man coming out to bat. It's not. India have sent Rishabh Pant out, which either says that Rahane, for whatever reason, wasn't ready to come out and bat, or for whatever particular reason,
left.
or they've gone
left,
left and decided, right, we need to break this up. England have started too well.
Or they want to
which is a
declare
great
before
sign.
lunch. Declare before lunch, that's what they're looking at. Pant's going to go in and just whoop it everywhere.
Well, it'll be fun if he does. Well, not if you're an England bowler, obviously, but from our point of view. So, Rishabh Pant, the left-hander, goes out to join the captain. 58 from 77 balls he was in the first innings, and he was unbeaten. He was the not-out man at the end of the innings. 55 for 3, the lead 250. If the alarm has gone off this morning, you've made a very good decision to be with us at this stage. This is good stuff from England. Pant down the pitch to Leach, first ball. He's playing it on the onside. It's ended up at third man.
Well, there you go. Intent straight away from Rishabh Pant, running down the wicket to Jack Leach, who's bowling into the rough, but he just gets a thickish outside edge and it runs away for one.
A clear change of plan here from Jack Leach. He's coming around the wicket to Rishabh Pant. So with that angle, he's bringing in the outside edge as he delivers the ball. So pre-ball, pre-delivery, he's actually thinking he's got to challenge my outside edge unless he's bowling it down the leg side, in which case it's easy for me.
Leach around the wicket to Kohli. There's a silly point in place now. Rory Burns is also there at short extra cover. England putting pressure on Virat Kohli. There's no run, he remains not out. It's gone very quiet. You're absolutely right, Goffey. It's gone very quiet all of a sudden. Leach is in once again. Kohli getting ball that pitched outside of leg stump and spins. He covers that spin, plays it down. Ben Foakes gathers. And Ben Foakes' very impressive match from behind the timbers continues. If I put my wicketkeeper head on, I didn't see any different to that one than there was in the first innings. But anyway, that's by the by. Kohli is forward, pushing out on the offside, no run.
I think what we might see from Indian batsmen as well is realise how good Ben Foakes is behind the stumps, and they might just be sitting a little bit deeper in the crease, which will again should help the spinners.
Kohli's got a look of real concentration and determination on his face. He's back in the crease, this one from Jack Leach around the wicket, and there's no run. End of the over here on TalkSport 2 and also on TalkSport as the listeners on TalkSport join us. You join us as India are 56 for 3. They were 54 for 1 overnight, but England have taken 2 early wickets, one thanks to a slightly comedic run out to get rid of Pujara, and then Rohit Sharma brilliantly stumped by Ben Foakes off the bowling of Jack Leach. Those are the 2 wickets of the morning, so it's Kohli and Rishabh Pant has come in at number 5. Gareth Batty and Darren Goff are alongside me.
Yeah, Mackie, you asked the question, what does he bring to the bowlers, to the team, Ben Foakes behind the stumps? Well, he probably brings the bowlers at least, on average, on a turning pitch like this, he would bring them almost a wicket each, I think, per game, as long as they're going to bowl an amount of overs in both innings, because it's the scraps around the bat. It's the little balls that most keepers aren't diving under the bat to get. It's the scraps where he picks it up and takes the bails for a run, for a stumping, basically a run out. But he's just so alert. He's so quick. His hands are so good. He's all over you.
Mowing around the wicket to Pant. Pant in his crease is almost playing French cricket. He's almost chest on down the pitch, just pushing out on the onside, no run.
Well, both wickets are because of his quick hands and quick thinking so far this morning. So that's 2 bats straight away.
Mowing is in his 10th over. He's around the wicket. The off-spinner is bowled up a full toss. Panther swept it into the leg side. He's got a leading edge on it. It loops up, but it'll land 5 metres away from Stuart Broad, who goes down to fine leg and chase, and Pant will take 2. And that could have been the 3rd wicket of the morning because there was no control over that whatsoever.
Well, if I was Brody, I'd take them bowling boots off and put his running shoes on, because I can't. The way it's gone for him this game, he's hardly been used. 11 overs, I think he's bowled in the game, not bowled in the second innings. He's got those big bowling boots on. He'd be quicker in the field if he had his trainers on.
Good lads.
Mowing around the wicket to Pant. Pant very solidly forward. Back down the pitch, there is no run.
The boots are a little bit different. I know you've not been finished long, Goffey, but the boots are a little bit different. You don't have to put your own nails in now with a hammer and so on and so forth through the back of the leather upper that you used to have.
Mowing around the wicket, turns away from Pant. He pushes into the offside. He sets off for a single that's never there and gets sent back by Kohli.
I'm ducking before you speak.
I tell you what I've done before, though. I actually have asked the captain when we have been touring Sri Lanka, am I going to bowl in the first hour? And if he says, no, it's going to be the spin, I'll say, can I go out in my trainers then? And then you just go off, don't you, for 1 over and put your bowling boots on. Just give your feet a rest. Because they were like divers' boots in my day, the bowling boots.
Good here, mate.
Ben Foakes offers his bowler some encouragement. Now, Leach is going to bowl over the wicket to Pant. Short leg and slip in place. Sorry, it's Mowing. Mowing, of course, around the wicket. And Pant just pushes out quietly on the offside. No run.
Lovely work, Mo. Lovely here, Mo.
Almost let Ben Folkes do the commentary at the moment as he encourages the bowler. That one is from Moeen Ali, is around the wicket, pitching middle and leggish, but again it's gripped, it's turned, it's bounced, and Rishabh Pant just plays it out on the offside. 23 overs gone, India 58 for 3 here on TalkSport and TalkSport 2.
We're just seeing the importance actually of the keepers in both innings, what effect they have on the team, the noise they make, encouraging the team, the body language and everything that goes with it. Matt will probably talk about that later. He was someone who made a big point and be noisy behind the stumps. In fact, most keepers are, and it creates an energy. And if you watched Rishabh Pant yesterday, he was commentating actually while he was keeping. And with Ben Folkes, loads of energy behind the stumps, keeping the lads going. It's great to see.
New over then for Leach, bowling to Kohli. He's been there 10 deliveries. And Leach around the wicket. Kohli's pushing in and driving into the offside, a little bit uppish. Sibley will field at extra cover and there is no run. Kohli is still on a pair. He's yet to get off the mark in this innings. And England keeping the pressure on him. Leach around the wicket. Kohli flicks to leg side. It's Moeen Ali just behind square at square leg who fields the ball, and Kohli is still there, yet to get off the mark.
It's what all the great spinners have, is that aura, that theatre around the bat, and the keeper is so important with that.
Folkes waits, watching, takes this delivery from Leach as Virat Kohli stretches forward but raises the bat high into the Chennai morning and allows it to go through. No run. Leach around the wicket. Kohli has a puff of dust as he comes forward, but again he's solidly forward in behind that. England making a lot of noise, but in fairness to Kohli, he played that one pretty well, never any danger there. I'm getting the impression that the Indian TV coverage at the moment are talking an awful lot about Ben Folkes' keeping, judging by some of the replays. Folkes whips off the bails from Kohli. That's a good one. Turn and bounce again, beats Kohli on the outside edge. Those bails are off in a flash, and they are flashing, but Kohli never dragged the back foot.
Well, look, this is great to see, isn't it, from England? It's a positive start, good noise, good keeping, good bowling from Moeen Ali and Jack Leach, but you can only think that England have got to go out and bat against this.
Leach then to finish the over. Kohli deep in his crease, turns it around the corner to Moeen Ali. He can keep hold of the ball because he's going to be bowling the next over. First 20 minutes or so for England have gone brilliantly. Pujara run out, albeit in comical fashion. Rohit brilliantly stumped by Folkes off the bowling of Leach for 26. India resuming 54 for 1 on our 58 for 3. Some more thoughts from Gareth Batty and Darren Gough, and Manners will take up the ball by ball.
Yeah, Leach is definitely growing in confidence. The 2 wickets would have helped, 2 for 20 at the minute off his 12 overs. But it's also the reaction he's getting off the surface. And he's growing in confidence. You can see his foot marks, so his front foot where he pivots and lands. And the bowling crease is just a little bit wider than it had been on the first day of the first test match. Well, first innings of the first test match.
Moeen Ali in once again, and that one turns quite sharply in. It's pushed away by Rishabh Pant for a single to Jack Leach at backward point. That was very well called by Virat Kohli from the non-striker's end.
So he's creating a big degree of angle into the right-handed batsman to then spin it away. And he's reaping the rewards at the minute and proving very difficult to line up from the batsman.
Virat Kohli still on a pair. 16 balls he's faced. He hasn't got off the mark after his 5-ball duck in the first innings. Here is Moeen again. Oh, sharp turn from off stump down the leg side, and he pushes at it, makes no contact. Again, the genius of Ben Folkes just makes it look so easy. He's taken that blind down the leg side. Oh, just he's one of those keepers you just pay your entrance money to watch him. Turned away now, again behind square on the leg side to backward square leg, no run, 59 for 3.
But what we're seeing as well, Bats, is from the 2 spinners, is for the first time in a match really, bowling as a pair and creating the pressure. Creating pressure, it's so important.
Here is Moeen Ali again, and Virat Kohli once more with the spin, pushes it behind square on the leg side. 19 balls now, he's still not off the mark.
Pressure is sort of holding the game. It's bowling good, strong balls in a good area where the batsman can't score. They know full well there's a ball with their name on it.
Here's Moeen again and turned away for a single. He just beats Jack Leach at backward square leg. Virat Kohli is off the mark and the crowd celebrate as if he's just got to 50.
It's interesting watching Virat Kohli, actually, isn't it, Bat? Because he's trying to play as deep as he possibly can in his crease, looking to play off the back foot whenever possible to stop that turn and bounce and getting one to glove into the area, short leg, and the men catching around the bat.
He's almost the opposite to Jack Leach. He's looking to get forward to Leach and stay back to Moeen Ali.
61 for 3 equates to a lead of 256. Rishabh Pant 4, Virat Kohli has 2. And forward comes Kohli to the next one. The last delivery of the 25th over from Moeen Ali nudges it out on the onside. 2 wickets down this morning for India. They lost Cheteshwar Pujara in comical fashion, and the first innings century in Rohit Sharma for 26. Yes, Jared Kimber.
So Pujara's gone out twice in the series because of something that Ollie Pope's done without Ollie Pope actually taking a catch at short leg. So that was an incredible reflex to be able to throw the ball back at stumps and get the run out. But he also deflected a ball at short leg that was going to go for 4 in the first test and somehow ended up with Rory Burns. He's dismissed Pujara twice without taking a catch so far in this series from short leg. I don't know if I've ever seen anything as weird as that before. Pujara probably hasn't.
Do you keep statistics for assists?
Do you get an assist off your spine?
Yeah, the ball came off you and was caught.
It does actually count as a Pope run out.
He gets the run out. Yeah. He doesn't get the He doesn't get the assist on the catch.
It says run out. It says run out in the scorecard. Pope.
Yeah. Exactly.
Long conversation now between the captain, the vice captain, and the bowler, Jack Leach, in I wouldn't say animated conversation, but certainly lengthy and earnest conversation with Joe Root, Ben Stokes.
I'm going to speculate here. This is about going over or round. I reckon Ben Stokes is saying go over the wicket and chuck it into that rough. I think the way that Jack Leach bowls, where sometimes he goes up out of the hand, would be a mistake. I'd stick round the wicket. I think that angle is actually holding Rohit Pant. You watch him when he plays his big shot, he's committed and he gets a long way offside of the ball. Bowling around the wicket, he's still holding his outside edge, so he can't predict quite as much. It's a bit harder for him to get outside the line consistently.
And with the inconsistent turn, we don't know the degree it's going to turn, does it? So around the wicket is actually a good idea.
All right, we'll tell you all about it in a moment. It's an interesting field. There's a man on the deep backward point boundary. Here is Jack Leach, and he continues over the wicket, and that's pushed away behind square on the leg side, no run.
No, he's changed manners, sorry to correct you. He was around the wicket to Rishabh Pant, now he's come over the wicket. I think that's what the conversation was about.
Okay. Well, it's a mouth-watering encounter. A sweep shot from Rishabh Pant and hits him on the pads, and it's deflected away down to the boundary at very fine leg, and they've picked up 4 leg byes. Or did he get some glove on that? Did he get some bat on that? I think he must have done. He did.
Looks like he trapped it, between bat and pat. Glove, top of the glove. Went fine, ran away again, quick outfield, run away for 4. It's interesting, isn't it? But he went to Ben Stokes. He's a left-handed batsman himself who likes to attack, and probably said to him, where would you rather me bowl to you at this stage? And Ben's obviously said to him, I wouldn't like you bowling into that rough outside by off stump.
I get it. I just think it's a much higher risk, and while we have complete control, he didn't look comfortable those first couple of balls around the wicket because of the angle that he arrived from. I don't think he's as worried over, because he can kick it almost, because that rough, he can get outside the line, which he did there with that sweep. I'm not saying he can't get him out like this, of course he can, but I think it's a higher risk from an England point of view, having control of the game.
India 65 for 3, leading by 260. Here is Leach again. Down's got him, stumped. Ben Stokes has another one. Jack Leach goes through between bat and pad. He was on the charge, Rishabh Pant. And just exceptional, exquisite glove work from Ben Stokes. so quick. He's so quick that you wonder initially whether he was bowled. But Jack Leach has his 3rd wicket. India are 4 down.
Well, there's one thing about Rishabh Pant. He does not come down to block it, does he? Or push one to mid-on. When he comes down, he wants to hit the maximum. He wants to hit a 6. Didn't quite get to it. There's a puff of dust. He's off balance. He falls over straight through to Ben Stokes. There's no point even looking behind because he just catches the ball and takes the stumps off, takes the bails off. So easy. But Pant goes for 8. It's a failure from him. 65 for 4 now here on TalkSport 2 India.
Oh, beautiful bit of bowling from Jack Leach. Held his nerve. He knew it was coming at him. Bowled it beautifully. This is all about the drop he gets out of the air. Drops down on Rishabh Pant and commits him to the shot. Ends up being an awful sort of swipe at the ball from Rishabh Pant. Had nothing on his mind but trying to hit it out of the ground and lost his shape. But I think this is all about beautiful bowling from Jack Leach. Great dip, great spin. And then, wow. Again, Ben Stokes. That's turned big. And he's there like a cat behind the stumps. Takes the ball and pounces on him. Beautiful, beautiful partnership there from Leach and Stokes. Great wicket from England. Well thought out. Well executed.
Gareth, I've just got a couple of things to say before you leave us. Jack Leach, 8 for 32. India 100 all out. England chasing 300. Win by lunch on day 4.
So you're saying there's a chance?
I mean, if you use a lot of imagination, and I couldn't see how the numbers might stack up to give them a 100 to 1 chance this morning. But
it's a real chance, isn't it? England now will. It's a long way in the distance, but they will have some kind of something to cling to. There's something to cling to.
Yeah,
there has to be. Or else, why do we play the game?
Well, yeah, they're not without hope at this stage. India are 65 for 4. It could be bowled out for 100. Here is Jack Leach from forward, comes to the new batsman Ajinkya Rahane, nudges it out on the onside.
I'm sure there'll be some people out there swigging on the cup of tea, almost choking on it, going, what is he on about? India is 64 for 5. That means England will get bowled out for 100. There is that.
Yeah,
I get it.
There is, yeah.
But it looks like it's not going to be an obscene score they're chasing.
Push and a miss outside the off stump here. Nice turn from Jack Leach. Yeah, I know. I mean, when I walk out of here, somebody will probably want to test me for something. But it's just... Could England score 300 in the 4th innings? Probably not. Here is Leach again. Short and cut! Just on the half volley to Stuart Broad, who dives from backward point and immediately shakes his head to indicate that he hasn't caught it cleanly. It's Ollie Stone, not Stuart Broad, beg your pardon. So immediately, that wasn't far away though. And how often do we see that? When the bowler bowls a little bit short outside the off stump and the cut shot goes in the air.
Could England score 280? So they've got to bowl them out quickly with no runs now, but could they? Mic drop.
Well, that's it. They need the next 6 wickets in the next 20 runs then. I was thinking 40. Chase 300, not 280. Wasn't being too greedy. India 65 for 4, leading by 260. Virat Kohli has 2 from 21. He has not found things easy at all. Moeen Ali is about to bowl the 27th over of the innings. Hasn't got amongst the wickets in the 2nd innings yet, but you fancy he probably will. Here is Moeen, bowls and hits Kohli outside the off stump on the pads. Morning, Matt Pryor.
Morning, Manners. And I'll be first in the queue, asking you to have your head checked. And Gareth Batty.
It's only coffee. It's only coffee. Matt, I promise it's only coffee.
Mate,
here's Moeen Ali, bowls right up in the block hole, driven down towards long on. This time it is fielded by Stuart Broad.
If England were chasing 120, I'd think there's a chance, outside chance.
Here's Moeen again. Short, pulled out towards mid-wicket. Well fielded by Dom Sibley, diving away to his left. So you're more on this game will finish today camp then?
If it keeps going like this, I think it will do, or it will be a long way to finished by the end of today.
Here is Moeen Ali once more, and that's very well played by Virat Kohli. Picks up the length early, and then having started to come forward, rocks right back onto his stumps and glances it down to fine leg for 4.
And please, England, prove me wrong. This is not a criticism of England's batsmen or anything like that. I think on this wicket, how you would look to score 300 runs in the last innings, I just don't think it would be possible. I think there's just too much going on, too much spin, too much uneven bounce. It would be, it would be miraculous. But as I say, please, England, prove me wrong.
India 69 for 4, leading by 264 runs. Ajinkya Rahane is yet to get off the mark, having faced 3 balls of Virat Kohli. They were leg byes, by the way. That leg glance, he's kicked those runs down to fine leg for a boundary.
In other news, Ben Stokes. Oh my goodness, what an exhibition this has been this morning.
Do you want a fun fact about Ben Stokes? He's got as many stumpings in this game as Jos Buttler has in his first-class career.
Seriously?
Am I allowed to drop the mic?
Here is Moeen Ali, and that's pushed away by Kohli for us.
That's one of those stats that you love, isn't it, Jared? But actually, it doesn't tell you much. It potentially just tells you that Jos Buttler has had many stumping opportunities.
He kept it Taunton for years, and has kept to many of the spinners.
So you're saying that Jos Buttler's missed all of the stumping opportunities?
I think he missed his first 5 in Test cricket, off the top of my head. I have to check with CricViz for that. I don't know how many he's missed in first-class cricket. But I think it is I think it tells you the different kind of wicket-keepers that they are, if nothing else.
I want to make another observation about Ben Stokes, because I was on commentary yesterday when he conceded some byes, and I said, oh my goodness, Ben Stokes has conceded some byes. What I didn't point out at that time was that they were the first byes in the innings, and it was after 101.2 overs on this pitch.
And it was such a shock on this pitch as well. That is so difficult to keep on, and it was still such a shock that any byes have got through. But I mean, this morning, just some of the takes that
Jack Leach continues, and there's a cut shot attempted here by Ajinkya Rahane. I don't know if he got a thick bottom edge to it or not, or whether it was
Ben Stokes didn't take it cleanly, so something must have happened.
It was a
bottom edge.
Huge bottom edge. I mean, a massive deflection, and it wasn't not taken by Ben Stokes. It was chopped so thickly that it missed his gloves entirely and was cut onto his thigh. So I don't think we put that as a chance, do we? India 70 for 4, leading by 265. Here is Leach once again, pushed really by Virat Kohli into the covers, no run.
There you go, Jared. Does that go down as a chance? Stood up.
Didn't hit his glove. He's okay, isn't he? Should have been caught by short leg.
Here is Leach again. Forward comes Virat Kohli, defending stoically.
But even that stumping of Rishabh Pant, we're seeing some replays now on the big screen we have here, and honestly, yes, Rishabh Pant's a long way down the pitch.
Here is Leach once again. That's driven in the air and just past the man who's there for the catch on the drive. Very, very close indeed to Ollie Pope, I think it is, on the drive. No, Ollie Pope's in it. It's Rory Burns diving to his left and almost getting his hand to it. But it's driven on the up by Virat Kohli, and there's a man on the drive. Actually, he got a thumb to it. That's a chance.
That is a chance. Yep, Rory Burns it was, diving to his left. Again, the standards these guys have in the field these days, I think you probably would have expected to have that. Hold on to it.
Here is Leach once again, and a sweep shot attempted by Ajinkya Rahane, and he does get another bottom edge to it. Very little coming out the middle of the bat at the moment. It's a single down towards short fine leg, and Ajinkya Rahane's off the mark with that. India moved to 74 for 4, leading by 269. It's all happening, but then we kind of expected it all to happen on this third morning. We've had 3 wickets already. India 74 for 4. Indian captain Virat Kohli on strike. Man at slip and silly point as Leach is into him. A quicker one, pushed through, and Kohli defends it out to Ollie Pope, who's had a particularly good morning fielding in close, either at short leg or silly point as he is there. 28 overs gone. India 74 for 4. Jinky Rahane on 2, Virat Kohli on 5. And the men to have been dismissed today. Cheteshwar Pujara run out, whose back got stuck in the crease as he attempted to regain his ground. Ollie Pope at short leg flicking the ball to Ben Foakes. And Rohit Sharma gone for 26, brilliantly stumped by Ben Foakes. Superb work from him. And then Rishabh Pant also stumped by Ben Foakes off Jack Leach for 8. Akash Chopra has joined us. Akash, as I said, we expected everything to happen quickly this morning, and it has. But there's no sense of a wobble for India, is there? They've got this game by the scruff of the neck.
Yes, they have actually. Of course, didn't expect wickets to fall in a heap, but they have, and it's going to get just tougher. So the runs on the board are already there.
Moeen Ali continues. It's pushed away off the pad by Jinky Rahane.
So India still lead by 269, and going by how the pitch is behaving, how the players are coping with it, this is more than enough already.
I think it was more than enough overnight, wasn't it? Akash, that's driven. Using his feet sweetly here, Jinky Rahane pushing it up towards mid-off, and there's no run.
You're right. Even overnight, 249 was more than enough. 15 wickets falling on day 2.
Rahane has 2, Virat Kohli has 5. Here is Moeen Ali, and that turns very sharply. Rahane backs away to cut, and the ball just followed him. I mean, he really did back away. He's taken a massive step outside leg stump here in order to cut this, because it's pitched 2 foot outside off stump and then spun back and would have missed leg stump. That's very close to a yard of turn. But from Moeen Ali, low full toss now, and it's driven away through the offside for 4. That's disappointing, Moeen Ali, to see the ball spin so much. He's just turned it over a yard, the previous delivery, and then holds a full toss and is driven for 4 through the offside. England clinging to the last vestiges of sane hope here. They don't need to be bowling full tosses and giving 4 runs away when they're so hard to come by, so hard to score when the ball actually bounces on the pitch. There's a slip, short leg, also a short mid-wicket as Moeen is in once again. That's too short and pulled away for 4 more behind square on the leg side. That unfortunately has been the story of Moeen Ali's test match. It's been he's bowled 4 or 5 really good balls per over, and then 1 or 2 bad balls.
Yeah, you're right, man. As it sums it up, really, doesn't it? It's so much pressure on the batsmen. So the wicket is helping the spinners incredibly. You've just got to put it in the right. In fact, your margin for error is quite big on this wicket for a spinner, and we're just not able to build that pressure.
Using his feet nicely now is Rahane coming down the pitch and using his pad, pushing that one defensively out on the offside. 82 for 4. Another quick word from Jared Kimber, and then it'll be Mark Nicholas.
The only thing I would add to what's going on this morning is generally around the 30 over mark of every innings we've had so far, the ball has just got a little bit softer and it's got easier for batting. That's when Rohit and Rahane came together. It's when Ollie Pope and Ben Foakes came together. So I do think at times when the ball gets a little bit softer, it keeps spinning as much, but because it just comes off the surface a little bit slower, I think there is a chance to make some runs. So it'll be interesting to see if it happens again in this innings.
Yeah, very, and it's a relevant point. Good morning, everybody, and a dramatic morning. I know Akash is still with us, but I think we're about to get underway with an over of spin. I've got a question for you, Akash, please.
Yes.
Well, you can think about it for a second. The ball, I mean, it hasn't been well received, the new SG ball.
Well, it hasn't been, but there hasn't been any murmurs in this test match, Mark. I think it was a lot to do with the red soil surface, 3 strips left off the pitch that is used for this test match. it is much more abrasive, and that's where the seam got disintegrated too quickly. But nobody has spoken a word about the ball in this
No, they
test match.
haven't. No, and it looks in good nick. 82 for 4 then as Jack Leach comes to bowl to Virat Kohli now. Kohli's forward and with good technique. Sort of leans over his stroke, bends that front leg pretty low and stays nice and sideways on, letting the ball run off the blade to backward point for no run. Kohli's one of those players who seems to have been born with bat in hand. It's as if the bat is an extension of his arms and hands. That was certainly the case with Sachin Tendulkar. And a fair few of the greats. Viv Richards would be another. Leach again. And Kohli turns the blade far too early to the leg side. That was an error of judgment, and it looped up off a thick outside edge and avoided the backward point fielder, and Kohli immediately practices not doing that. He's more than aware of the error. Gosh, he really did shut the face far too early on this surface. You have to continue playing straight for even longer than you think you should. That was much better from Kohli that time because he came forward. It was a different line actually. It was a tad more outside off stump. He came forward and defended. So Leach has learned something. Bowl straight and you maybe force an error here. It's a little wide of off stump and it's left alone. You can just straighten up a bit. You can sort of bowl middle stump and maybe even middle and leg you're sort of edging towards trying to bowl the magic ball, but you can certainly bowl straighter than you would earlier, and even in this game. And down the... Oh, Ollie Stone has just made the most terrible mistake in the field. Down towards the pavilion, he chased the ball after it came off a thick outside edge from Kohli defending really, and he just made a Horlicks of picking it up, and he sort of threw it over the rope. Let's have a look again. Yeah, no, he just only gets thumb on it, not hand. And we've had some moments this morning, haven't we? Amongst the drama and the magic, we've also seen some madness.
We have, haven't we? That was another one. All effort from Ollie Stone, but just can't quite get the ball.
Kohli's back and sort of knocks it down as it gets big on him. Interesting over, 86 for 4. So just finishing, sorry Maddie, I just want to finish with Akash and the red soil. Is that the case generally? I mean, we've all seen a lot of red soiled pitches in India. Historically, would they have done much more damage to the ball, or is it just here in Chennai?
No, the red soil surface will inflict more damage on the ball. And when you go up north, you only get black soil. The black clay content is a lot more. You go to the west, Mumbai, Ahmedabad, Baroda, and then see Chennai, even Bengaluru. These are the places where you'll find red soil. But on this surface, this square, you've got 3 or 4 red soil pitches, and the remainder of the square is actually made of black soil. So this is a bit of a strange kind of square where you've got two different kind of soils.
I remember one in Ahmedabad that looked the colour of the one here in the first match. Anyway, Moeen Ali bowls down the pitch, comes Ajinkya Rahane trying to turn it into a full toss. He doesn't quite get there, and so he jams it into the ground, and there's no run from it. 86 for 4 here, 4 down. India leading by 281. It's a huge advantage. Don't even dare to dream as Rahane goes forward and just drops it out. Really, it rolls leg side rather than offside. We've seen some extraordinary stuff this morning that you wouldn't really make up. But you know what? This game has been... Well, both tests have had extraordinary stuff, I would say, in terms of quality and lack of quality. And moments where you think, gosh, really, cricket's moved on, and moments where you think it's stood very still. Oh, that might be out. That might well be out. Yes, it is. Ajinkya Rahane came down, tried to go bat and pad as he didn't get near enough the pitch of the ball. It spun inside edge onto pad, looped up, and Ollie Pope threw himself forward as the ball hung in the air and a little bit back down the pitch, actually, not just forward to the batsman, and clung onto the catch. So Rahane out. 5 down now, Matt.
Yep, and it's just it's just more and more ominous for England. I can't see it. Both these all the Indian batsmen have just really struggled to find a way to score, a way to defend. And how do you bat on this surface right now? Well, certainly none of the Indian batsmen so far this morning have been able to show us. Another good delivery from Moeen, but as Akash said yesterday, I think the spinners just have to put it in an area and they get all the assistance from the wicket. India now 86 for 5 here on TalkSport 2.
Welcome to our TalkSport listeners who join us. Good to have you on board. We're talking to Akash Chopra, the former Indian opening batsman, and Akash, take this in the right spirit. Would you say that perhaps because of so much short form cricket in the world that even Indian players aren't quite the masters of playing spin that they once were? Now, obviously, I accept that this is an especially difficult pitch.
No, there is merit in that argument, Mark, because the standard of the quality of spin in the Indian domestic circuit, that's what we discussed in the last test match as well. And when you're growing up playing the quality of spin that is there on display, you're basically a product of your environment, the conditions that you grow up in. And you are right, when the ball is spinning, it's turning, it's bouncing, quality of spin, Indian batsmen tend to struggle as much. I remember the game against Australia in 2017, the first test match at Pune, the ball was turning square, and in the end actually Australians played it better than we did on that surface. Steve Smith scored a century, there was Jadeja, there was Ashwin, but India couldn't win that test match. So you are right in that assessment that Indian players' ability to counter spin is not the same as it used to be, say, 30 years ago.
Thank you for that. Akshar Patel is now out in the middle and is ready for Moeen Ali. He's taken guard, 2 slips and a short leg, and that's a nice ball, but it didn't really spin. It was dead straight on a good length, and Akshar came forward and was able to defend quite easily. I suppose the art of getting nearer the ball by your footwork, dancing down the pitch, and that's one thing that you don't see so much. There's much more stand and deliver batting, perhaps less nimble footwork than there used to be. Better ball striking, but anyway, here's Moeen Ali again. And he bowls short, and Akshar goes back and drives straight to short extra cover, so there's no run. More batsmen in England tend to sweep than dance down the pitch. Rohit Sharma swept very well in his innings. Incredible innings now. I mean, as Akshar Patel goes forward and pushes that towards mid-on. 86 for 5.
Yeah, how good does that innings look now? 161. All by himself on this wicket. Incredible knock.
Well, yeah, and Akash, we've said quite a lot in this commentary box that you know, England may be not in hindsight, we said it at the time, Goffey certainly did, I think we all did, that you know, that India were allowed to get too many. England's bowling was too inconsistent in the first innings, and so that 329 probably should have been 259, say.
Agree, 225. Because the ball was turning from day one, first session, first hour, you could see the ball spinning, bouncing, and 225 would have been more than a handful. 329 was just allowing the opposition to run away with it. So yes, winning the toss is an advantage, a significant advantage, but you got to still bowl well. Exactly what India did not do that in the first test match, Mark, because you lost the toss, yes, but India should not have allowed England to score 578. They should have bowled a lot better. Our
feeling in our review last night was that actually winning the toss in the first match was probably a marginally greater advantage, but I'll come back to that as Jack Leach comes to bowl now to Virat Kohli, and that's short, and Kohli cuts. Doesn't nail it by any means, but he finds the gap at point, and it'll be pulled up by Dom Sibley, and he flicks back to Ollie Stone, who throws to Ben Foakes in a routine that we've become used to in the modern game. One fielder to another near the boundary's edge, and a return to the wicket keeper, who then lobs it to a fielder who starts to work on it. Kohli made sure he stayed over that shot, didn't pull out of it. When the ball's stopping and turning, you don't want to pull out of your back foot shots, because they tend to go in the air then. So he had a firm base and tried to have his weight going into the shot rather than away from it. It was difficult because it was so wide, the ball. 89 for 5. If you're just switching on, it's a beautiful morning, and the cricket is barely believable.
Wickets are falling, mistakes are being made, occasional boundaries are being hit. Every ball seems a possibility for something, and most likely a wicket. Akshar Patel now on strike to Jack Leach, who bowls into the rough, and he goes to drive. He gets a thick inside edge from the spin of the ball, the hard spin of the ball, and it goes for a single to square leg. Ollie Pope's left floundering on the ground. A man who's taken a pounding in this match, but also held good catches, batted very well in the first innings. He's shown skill and courage throughout the game in various modes. Leach again spinning the ball in his hand as if it's a top. A little short, and Kohli goes back and works the space on the leg side. He waited longer for that one. That's a lovely back foot punch wide of mid-on, from which he gets a couple. Probably should have had 3 and didn't. Maybe he fancied the strike, who knows. Stuart Broad, the lesser spotted Stuart Broad, who gave chase on that occasion. I wonder what they'll do about the next match with Anderson and Archer. Well, certainly Anderson and maybe Archer due to return. Much for England to think about. 287 the advantage for India. We're with you as Kohli goes forward and plays a very competent looking forward defensive shot. We're with you here on TalkSport 2, but also on TalkSport at the moment. So if you're awake, indeed, wherever you're listening, it's great to have you with us. And Chennai still has spectators in it. Not quite as enthusiastic as we've heard them, of course, with the score. Great shot. A beauty. A very, very fine player. One of the all-time great players, I would suggest. Hits an on-drive of power and beauty.
Yeah, absolute class this from Virat Kohli. We know how good a player he is. On a surface like this, it's stopping and bouncing and spinning. Just one stride, got to the pitch, just forced it down the ground, and beats mid-on, on the left hand. Stuart Broad, no chance.
Sachin Tendulkar used to hit that side of the stumps, didn't he? Just using the bottom hand at the last minute to hit a gap that no one ever fills. And that ball from Leach was full, out on the leg side it goes, off the front foot, but there's no run. End of the over. 96 for 5 now India, 291 in front. Akash, in general, in India, is cricket still the god? Is there a waning of that interest, or is it something that is now driven more by T20 and specifically the IPL perhaps than by Test matches, or is the love of the game as it ever was?
It's exactly the same, maybe a bit more. Yes, T20 has brought in a fresh set of audience, but cricket is as popular, if not more, as it has always been or ever been. So yes, cricket is still God and is considered as close to religion as possible.
Thank you. Great to hear your voice, always. Not that you've gone, but great to hear your voice. Moeen Ali bowls a full ball around middle and leg, and Akshar Patel smartly plays it very straight. Now, a lot of less experienced cricketers, even though it's only his first Test match, he's played plenty of cricket. He pushes it back from whence it came, as the old pros used to say. And now he plays forward, and that ball turns, bounces a little extra, and shoots off the, well, not quite the corner of the top corner of the bat, but the outside edge. He gets a single, and I've just heard that Akash has left us actually, and we'll be back later. So good to hear from Akash and his insights from that great cricketing land, well, the great land that is India. Noises from the stump mic, the tapping of the ground of a batsman, the bowler ready to deliver. Back goes Virat Kohli. 18 he's made from 43 balls as he defends that down to Ollie Pope, who does the fielding. Is this the calm before the storm? Moeen again, but this time on the front foot. Kohli defends the ball with the spin into the leg side. I say the calm before the storm. We've had the first part of the storm. Will India's when India bowl, will England's innings be the next part of the storm? That's what we ask. And what sort of a storm? Back goes Virat Kohli, and Moeen Ali bowled pretty well today. Kohli works that to deep back, a short backward square leg, and there's no run from it. The lead is at 292. A few clouds around today, but nothing to worry about. Still a lovely morning in Chennai. Bustling city centre as that gloves Kohli as he goes to work it leg side, end of the Moeen Ali over. And a call for drinks from umpire Sharma. 97 for 5, the advantage is 292. And the cricket, we can safely say, Matt, before you take those headphones off, has held our attention.
Yeah, it certainly has. A lot of wickets this morning. There's been some comical times as well. The Pujara wicket. There's been some fantastic wicket keeping. I mean, we'll obviously talk about it, but Ben Folks, my goodness, some of the takes. I mean, even just some of the plays and misses that isn't a stumping or a catch. Just his quality of glove work on a surface like this has been outstanding. We've spoken a lot about him. He's got his reputation as a pure wicketkeeper and the best in England, but this is a surface where he can really show off and show his skill, and he certainly has done that. Absolutely fantastic to watch.
Nice to hear you, Matt. Goffey's in now, and with the score at 97 for 5. We're on TalkSport for the next hour, so you've got us. We're blanket coverage now. Therefore, we can leave it to one man, Mr. Andrew McKenna.
Thank you, Mark. What a first hour that's been. India resuming 54 for 1. After an hour, they're 97 for 5.
Well, when we started at 3:45 this morning, Macca, would you have believed it? We said all he can ask for from his team is to go out there and fight and try and bowl India out as quick as they possibly can, because it's still a long series, still a few test matches to play. A miracle, could it happen? I would very much doubt it, but England have put themselves still in it with a chance of a 1% chance of winning the game, realistically.
But the fact that they've got a chance,
yes,
is absolutely remarkable. They've fought so hard this morning. Pujara opened the door, running himself out for 7, getting in a tangle. He tried to turn it past Ollie Pope at short leg, then tried to remake his ground and didn't. He went to put his bat down, and his bat actually dug into the ground on the line, and as Ollie Pope returned the ball to Ben Folks, Folks whipped the bails off. Pujara's bat fell out of his hand and couldn't get either his foot or his hand across the line. He was therefore run out for 7. That was 55 for 2. Rohit Sharma stumped by Ben Folks for 26, 55 for 3. Rishabh Pant coming in at number 5, stumped by Folks off the bowling of Leach for 8, 65 for 4. And then Ajinkya Rahane caught by Pope off the bowling of Moeen for 10. That was 86 for 5. England this morning from wicket to wicket, 5 for 44 in 19 overs and 1 ball. So that's quite some turnaround, and the sort of day that actually you jokingly say it's Ben Folks' birthday with a day like today. Well, it actually is Ben Folks' birthday. It's his 28th birthday.
Is it?
And he's not going to forget this one in a hurry.
Well, he started really well, hasn't he? I mean, he's alone a wicket-keeper's skill, as I said, Matt, he's been able to show off on this pitch. The ball's turning and bouncing and dusting, but he has been so neat behind the stumps. He's been noisy, loads of energy. He's created an atmosphere for the England bowlers to bowl. He's encouraged them. We now seen Leach and Moeen probably bowling as a partnership for the first time in the match and creating pressure. Virat Kohli had to wait patiently to get off the mark. Quite a few balls, wasn't it? But he's played really, really well, actually. The wicket's falling around him, but since Virat Kohli's come to the crease, since he got off the mark, I think he's played quite beautifully. He's 18 of 46 deliveries. And let's say India now, 97 for 5. A huge, huge lead. Almost impossible for England, but this is all we could ask for from England. Joe Root and his men this morning was to take some wickets, show some fight, and put the pressure onto India, and they've done that.
292 runs is the lead for India at the moment. It's just gone 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm sure there's alarms going off up and down the country as you prepare to head to work on this Monday morning. Yep, India 97 for 5. England are swarming around the bat of Akshar Patel, and Jack Leach is going to start after drinks, left arm over the wicket to the left armour, and Akshar pushes out on the onside, no run.
And a tactic from India today is to try and go to left right, hasn't it, all the way through, because Patel's come in before Ashwin.
Akshar Akshar gets a ball outside of off stump. It's the one that goes straight on from Jack Leach through to wicketkeeper Ben Foakes. He whips off the bails. There's no run.
And Pant came in before Rahane. So it's been a tactic they've used to try and confuse, make it difficult for the England spinners by having right left-handers at the crease, where you have to change your line, your length.
Leach over the wicket once again. Outside portion of the bat, drops it down at his feet does Akshar, and he remains 2 not out from 9 deliveries. Leg slip, short leg, slip all around Akshar as Leach goes in. He uses his feet, comes down, but there's no timing in that whatsoever to Rory Burns at short mid-wicket. He remains 97 for 5.
And one thing about Jack Leach, he's picked up 3 wickets so far in this innings, but he has bowled it a little bit quicker today. So obviously he learned from watching Akshar Patel.
Absolutely, he's been around sort of the high 80s, low 90s in terms of kilometres an hour. That one he's bowled, it's turned around by Akshar. Actually a bit slower, that one. That was almost 81. But yeah, absolutely. Gareth Batty's used the phrase a lot of times during this test match, a bit more direct on it, and he's certainly been a bit more direct.
Definitely, I think you're always learning every single day as a cricketer, whether it be first class cricket, test cricket, always learning.
Leach to Kohli then. Still 2 around the bat as Leach goes around the wicket. Kohli is playing the line of leg stump, just pushes out on the offside. And it completes the over here on TalkSport and TalkSport 2. 98 for 5, 34 overs of the Indian second innings remaining. It's worth reminding you that we are only an hour into day 3 of this test match.
Amazing, isn't it, really, when you think about it? So much has happened, so many wickets, the ball dusting from that first morning, and there's been so much debate on social media about the pitch and all that, but what we are seeing is a good test match. It's good viewing, it's good to work on. I'm enjoying it. There's been some good batting, there's been some good bowling, there's been some terrible batting and some terrible bowling, so that's cricket, and that's why we love it.
Absolutely. Well, 10,000 were officially in the ground yesterday. Be interesting to see what the number ends up at today. Moeen Ali starts the new over. Akshar just pushes into the offside, no run. So it was 9,000 on day 1, 10,000 on day 2. Wanting India end their innings, if it ends today, you would assume it will, and England start batting. You wonder if a few more might try and come in and see India win a test match. Moeen Ali has bowled an absolute ripper to Akshar there. He's bowling around the wicket, that's pitched leg stump and has turned past the outside edge and gone past off stump. Well, that's a beauty.
Well, he played the line though. We talked about that. He played the line. If it turns and bounces like that, you're going to miss it. He actually played that quite well.
And he missed it by quite a long way. That's how far it turned. That one's turned again. Akshar is deep in his crease on that occasion, and Ben Foakes takes again as it turns past the top corner of his bat.
He definitely has a look, Akshar Patel, of the Indian coach Ravi Shastri. The way he bats and the way he bowls.
That's always good to curry favour with the coach. He comes forward, he's beaten out to the outside edge again on this occasion by Moeen Ali as Akshar. He's got 3 from 15 deliveries now.
It's a little moustache as well, I think that gives it away.
98 for 5, India lead by 293. Moeen is in. Akshar makes contact with that one. He gets right forward and smothers it into the offside. No run. Moeen Ali just waits at the end of his mark. Now he's on his way. Gives that one a bit of a tweak. And it's short. And Akshar Patel will work it into the leg side. Dan Lawrence is chugging after that one to the mid-wicket boundary, but can't haul it in. If there was 2 more metres, he'd have got there. As it was, he's just not quite quick enough to pull that one in. And India get to 3 figures in their second innings. It might not sound much, but it takes the lead to 297. They're 102 for 5 as Akshar works that one through mid-wicket.
What do they always say? Every run's worth double at this moment in time. It's that difficult to play on the pitch. It's turning, it's bouncing. Men around the bat. Very, very difficult situation. It's a test of your technique. And so far, Virat Kohli is winning that test. And Akshar Patel, even though he's just come to the crease, has played pretty well. Played straight down the line. If he's turned, it's missed his outside edge. And he's still there. He's only on 7. It's a valuable 7 for India, a lead now of 297 as they sit on 102 for 5 on TalkSport 2.
If you're not familiar with that phrase about every run counting double, it's one to your team and another one that the opposition have to score. That's the explanation there. It almost feels like it might almost be worth more than that, because it's sort of another one that drives one through the heart of the English team. Kohli's going to be on strike to Jack Leach. Going back in the crease, it bounces waist high and Kohli pushes back down the pitch. No run.
It's just a shame, isn't it? But Moeen in that first innings was obviously a bit rusty. He's not played for such a long time. He sat in his hotel room in Sri Lanka for a long part of it.
Leach around the wicket brings Kohli forward, pushing out on the offside. Pope fields at silly point, no run.
But as the game's gone on, he's actually got into a better rhythm. Him and Jack Leach will be able to create some pressure on the Indian batsman.
Leach around the wicket. Kohli looks as if he was trying to work that one on the onside for a moment. He takes thick outside portion of the bat and goes out onto the offside, no run.
Which is totally opposite to Don Best, who I thought started well in the last Test match, but tired as the game went on. And that's why they left him out of this Test match. I thought he looked a little bit jaded and tired.
Leach in, Kohli covering up, no run.
Really nice there, buddy. Real good, pal.
Yeah, it's worth remembering, of course, England have been away for a while. Those 2 tests in Sri Lanka and all the biosecure bubbles and everything that brings with it. It's not just playing cricket anymore. Kohli is beaten on the back foot by Jack Leach. Leach outside of off stump. Kohli went back and went to play at it and was beaten on the outside edge. No run.
Again, the pace, very difficult. Do I go forward? Do I go back? He decided to go back, but beaten on the outside edge. Vicious turn.
Leach gives that one some air. It's a full toss, actually, and Kohli's going to work this through square leg, and Moeen Ali will be retrieving that from the boundary. That's about the first time that Jack Leach has lost his control, certainly this over anyway. It's the final ball of the over, and he gets worked away for 4, and that'll be the frustration for Chris Silverwood. 5 balls in the over. He's wanting the bowler to join up the dots, in the old phrase from the scorebook, make it a maiden, and unfortunately he's chucked in a lowish full toss that Virat Kohli has whipped through square leg away for 4.
Well, that's been the story of the game for England, unfortunately. Not quite been at the best with the ball, and they bowled too many bad balls. And Jack Leach, I think, actually has had a good Test match. He's bowled really, really well. He's been the most consistent bowler England have had in this Test match, and he is getting better as the series goes along. But there you can see they got the sweep man up because they want to encourage him to try and sweep and get that top edge. You remember Joe Root top edging the left arm spinner? But obviously with a man up, as soon as it beats the field, it runs away for 4.
The lead is over 300. 301 at the moment. They're 106 for 5. And Moeen will start a new over to Akshar Patel. He's beaten on the inside edge, takes him on the pad, given out LBW. England asked really, really hard for that one. Moeen was convinced, Stokes was convinced. Akshar Patel walks down the pitch and has a chat with Virat Kohli, and they are going to review this one.
It looked like it went straight on with the arm, didn't it? There wasn't no spin there from Moeen Ali. Be interesting whether he did get any glove on it whatsoever.
So it pitches, straightens. Did he inside edge it?
Bat is close. One more time, please. And give me ultra edge when you're ready. Just to confirm.
If there's no edge, it's going to be close because it actually misses the front pad and takes him on the back leg.
Did it?
And we're seeing the ultra edge.
Keep rolling. Yeah, let it touch the pad. Yeah, keep rolling. Flat line, flat line, flat line.
So there's
keep it touch the pad. Yeah.
There's nothing there, and what they're waiting for is them to actually go through.
No bat involved.
And see it hit the back leg to see the spike.
Ball tracking when you're ready, please.
So they're happy that there was no bat. Now
in line, pitching.
It's pitched in line.
Hitting in line.
Umpire's call. It will be out.
Umpire's call. Go to the on-field umpire. Virendra, stay with your decision. Yeah, thank you.
England have another one. 106 for 6, and Akshar Patel is dismissed for 7 from 18 deliveries from Moeen Ali, and 36 overs and 1 ball of the Indian innings have gone, and number 6 goes down, and that huge cheer can mean only one thing. The local boy, Ravichandran Ashwin, is on his way out to bat. Imagine what it's going to sound like if he takes 2 or 3 wickets later on. But he's on his way. England have another one. We asked before the start of play, what's the best they could do? Take a few down with them. Well, they've done more than that, Darren Gough. They've been really good this morning.
Well, they've been excellent. They're still about the old bad ball, but they've consistently got the ball in the right areas. They've created some pressure on the Indian batsmen. We've seen the genius that is Ben Stokes behind the stumps, showing wicket keepers around the world how important position it is for a team by creating those wickets. And then, like I said, the spinners, Jack Leach, I think he's picked up a few wickets now. Moeen Ali has picked up a couple. The ball's turning, it's bouncing, it's difficult conditions. Ashwin comes to the crease. He's going to be obviously the leading light for India when they get the ball in hand. He's already got 5 wickets in the match. And he's had a terrific series so far. But if he can just hang around for another hour and just rub salt into the wounds of England and lead now at 301, it should be enough. But listen, cricket, we've seen some unbelievable cricket matches over the past few years, and I'm not expecting the miracle to happen this game, but never say never.
Absolutely. Ian Botham, 1981, Headingley and all that. In fairness, that wasn't played on a pitch like this. And if this goes down to the last hour on the 5th day, I can't imagine what this pitch is going to look like and what it'll be playing like. But anyway, 106 for 6. Moeen has 2 for 38 in the innings. Jack Leach 3 for 48.
It couldn't have got any better for England. They've had a terrific morning so far. They've been excellent. To take 5 Indian wickets this morning, it's a huge pat on the back from me.
Here we go then. Moeen Ali over the wicket to Ashwin. He's bringing his man forwards. Almost takes it on the Yorker in the end, Ashwin, and pushes it back to the bowler, and there is no run. Quarter to 11 in Chennai. Heat of the day starting. Ashwin has got off the mark with an absolute beautiful shot. That is outside of off stump from Moeen Ali as it's supposed to be, but he swung it away through square leg. Clean as a whistle. It's away for a boundary 4. 110 for 6 here on TalkSport to the lead 305.
Again, trying to create some pressure, leaving sweet man up, but the off spinner bowling that attacking line outside off stump. That's the safest shot, isn't it, against the off spinner? And Ashwin there got good contact and it flew away to the boundary for 4.
He's batting on off stump as he takes guard here. Ashwin, and he gets an inside portion of the bat. He's looking to play into the offside, inside edge, and it will roll to Joe Root, who is the straighter of the catching mid-wickets at the moment. England have got a short leg. Root at a short catching mid-wicket. There's a man on the drive on cover side as well. Ashwin off of the back foot. Beats Root, but can't beat Rory Burns, who is tucked in behind him, and it remains 110 for 6.
And by the way, spinners don't like giving other spinners their wicket, do they? Oh.
Absolutely. Moeen goes in. Ashwin has played the reverse. He's got down on one knee and played it through third man. Ben Stokes is going back from slip and will pull it up a metre inside of the rope. And Ashwin has gone through for 3. So, well, it's all the fun of the fair this morning.
Well, it's the best way to play. I think he's come to the crease and decided, but it's very difficult conditions to bat. It's dusting. He's just going to try and play a few shots, get a quick 20 or 30 if he can, and it just totally puts England out of the game. But a good effort there from Ben Stokes on the boundary. Yeah. Day 3, I think he might not get away with that one though. It could be 4.
So what he's done is he's slid. He's got his right hand on the ball. He's trying to lift his feet up so they don't make contact with the boundary foam while he's got his hand on the ball. And unfortunately for him, he's made contact. Now, Ben, you might have just picked up Ben Stokes on the stump mark going, how's that 4? They have given it 4, and the answer, Ben, is if you'd lifted your foot up about 5 or 6 millimetres more, you wouldn't have made contact with the boundary foam. He still can't believe it now. And they're having a conversation. Virat Kohli's involved with Joe Root, and they're both talking to both umpires. To be honest, we've seen the replay close up on a big HD screen, and Goffey, it was fairly clear, wasn't it?
Well, I would say so, but it's creating a debate. It looks like now it's a 3. I think Virat Kohli has basically said, come on, I think he stopped that, it's 3. It's kind of, they've gone against what the umpires have said.
So we're going to amend the John Terry banner at Stamford Bridge, captain, leader, legend. We're now going to have captain, batsman, umpire for Virat Kohli, because apparently he's doing that as well.
Well, he's basically trusted the England fielder, hasn't he, to say he stopped it.
Wrongly, I think, because I reckon that was 4, judging by the replay we've seen. Anyway, it's been given us 3. We're going to stay with 3. So Virat Kohli is back on strike. That might be the more significant factor. 114 for 6. Virat fancies Jack Leach, it would appear. Leach goes in, it's short, wide, and Virat Kohli hammers it through point for 4.
So we said before that he averages 100 when the ball spins away. Ashwin is going to really struggle with Jack Leach on this pitch. Could just be a tactical thing, and if that case, absolute genius and fair play to him.
My apologies, because of course that's the first ball of the new over, so it wasn't given as 3 because Kohli would have been at the other end, wouldn't he? So it was a 4.
But it was a strange conversation, wasn't it, with the umpires? It almost looked like, say, listen, I trust the fielder. He's basically said it, but, yeah, give him the 4.
Well, anyway, it kind of doesn't matter, really, in a sense. It's 118 for 6. We're in the 38th over of the Indian innings. It's 313 the lead as Kohli comes forward to Leach and plays out on the offside for no run. Well, it is all happening. It's never a dull moment at in this series. Could be the final day of action in Chennai. First 2 matches of this series in Chennai before everyone moves on to Ahmedabad. And it appears the crowd are going to try and make the most of it. Kohli on strike, 26 not out. Jack Leach to bowl around the wicket to him. 2 slips in place. Oh, that turns. Takes the outside edge of Kohli's bat. Goes wide of the second slip, who is Ollie Pope. And there is no run. It just goes quiet for a moment as everyone sort of takes their breath between deliveries. Leach gets back to the end of his mark, on his way once again. That ball is tight into Kohli, and he's managed to guide it through Ollie Pope at second slip. And Ollie Stone will field at short third man as they take a single. 119 for 6, the lead, 314.
I think what Virat Kohli's done, though, by us watching him play here, is but he showed how difficult it was when he first came to the crease. He was on a pair, he was very watchful, a lot of balls to get off the mark. But since he's got off the mark, he's played really, really well, hasn't he? He used his feet, he's got deep in the crease to the off-spinner Moeen Ali. He's looked to cut Jack Leach when he's dragged it down.
Ashwin gets the 5th ball of the over. It's pitched outside of off stump. Puff of dust turns away further from his stumps, and it's allowed through to Ben Foakes, no run.
And the importance of having a definite game plan and knowing where you're going to score off each bowler.
To complete the over then, Jack Leach goes in, and Ashwin is solidly in behind this one, pushes it back down the pitch and completes the over. You're listening to TalkSport, you're listening to TalkSport 2, every ball of this series, of course, on TalkSport 2. TalkSport with us for some time as well. Download the app so you can just quickly flip between the 2 stations as and how you need. At the end of the over, India are 119 for 6. Some more thoughts from Darren Gough, and Neil Manthorpe will be taking up the ball by ball.
Yeah, I've talked many times about this morning, but England going out there, it could have just drifted away from them the match, but they showed terrific fight and skill at times. Jack Leach has bowled quite beautifully. It's been evident he's bowled a little bit quicker in this morning's play, after probably learning from Ashwin and Axar Patel the speeds they bowled on day 1 and 2. India 119 for 6. Moeen Ali picked up a couple of wickets as well, which would be great for his confidence, not bowled for such a long time. But Virat Kohli is playing really, really well. Watchful, knows his game inside out, and shows me if you can get in on this wicket, it's going to be difficult, but if you have a game plan, you can score. Neil Manthorpe.
Joe Root coming into the attack with his 32 test wickets and an average of tick under 47, but he's getting better and better, Joe Root. I think he's becoming a full-time part-timer now. Here is the England captain around the wicket to Virat Kohli. He comes forward, stretching forward, pushing it away defensively on the offside. I love the seriousness with which he takes his bowling. every practice that I've ever watched, he always has a bowl. Here he is once more around the wicket, and Kohli comes forward and nudges it out towards mid-wicket. And he's determined, and I think he has succeeded in having a second string to his bow, Goffey.
Oh, he's one of the hardest trainers I've seen with his skills, whether it be fielding, batting, bowling. I was amazed.
Root again. Kohli comes forward, stretching to get to the pitch of it, nudges it through mid-wicket.
I was amazed in New Zealand the amount of time he puts in on his game. He bats for hours. He goes and fields for an hour, and I'm not exaggerating here. Slip catches to the spinners, to the seamers, and then he always finishes with a bowl. So his work rate is incredible, incredible.
India 120 for 6, leading by 315. Ashwin on strike now. He has 8. Root into him, and that is pushed away defensively out in the offside. Almost looked like that one was a leg spinner. I'm not sure. I mean, it seemed to turn away from the right-hander. Here is Root once again, and that is pushed down the ground towards mid-off and fielded by Ollie Stone. Matt Pryor's making was that a leg spinner that you were? Yeah, it was. He is making a leg spinning action, so maybe it was a leg spinner from Joe Root. Here he is once again, and that's nudged out on the offside once again by Virat Kohli, and there's no run.
Well, if you remember when we were in Sri Lanka, Manners, he bowled lots of them in practice, didn't he? He practiced that delivery a lot. So he was bowling in his office, and then he threw in leggies, and he used to practice it all the time. And in the West Indies, every morning he was practicing that delivery, and now he's got the confidence to bowl it against India. It's great to see.
Caught me by surprise. I mean, you sort of doubt the evidence of your own eyes.
It's all right, mate. You don't have to bat against him. You'll be all right.
So if it's hard enough to pick him from here, goodness knows how I do with pads and a bat. India 120 for 6, leading by 315. R. Ashwin has 8. Virat Kohli has 28, and it's been an all-action-packed morning with India resuming on 54 for 1. They've lost 5 wickets. Jack Leach has taken 3 of them. Currently has figures of 3 for 53. And he's continuing now, the 40th over of the innings. And Leach is in outside the off stump, beats the outside edge, and Ben Foakes, who has 3 stumpings in the Test match, whips the bails off, but back foot was solidly anchored behind the line. Jack Leach and Moeen Ali have had a busy morning, and I suspect they'll probably keep bowling until bowling the majority of the overs until India are all out. Joe Root's having a little twirl just before lunch now as Leach is in once again, and that's pushed out towards cover point, and they go through for another run.
I think Joe Root's brought himself on as well, probably to give Moeen Ali a bit of a break. For someone who hasn't bowled for so long, it's an hard job bowling, whether you're bowling spin or seam or medium pace. People always think it's just the fast bowlers that get tired, you know what I mean? But spinners get tired as well. Their fingers, the action, they still have to get through that action, put a lot of effort into it.
Slip in a gully now as Leach is in. That keeps very low, awkwardly low.
Dear.
R. Ashwin right on the back foot, has to almost dig that one out. Mason Crane's on the field as a substitute.
Not good to see, is it? So basically we're almost like 2 days.
Here's Leach again, a sweep shot from Ashwin, which he misses, and safely into the gloves of Ben Foakes.
So we're always like 2 days, the pitch is playing 2 days worse than it actually is. This was playing on day 5 in the last Test match, and we're on day 3. Do you know where I'm coming from? So day 3 was like day 1, and now day 3 is like day 5 of last match.
I think this is a day 6 pitch. This is what it looks like when the Test match is finished. It's
when they're on the beach.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just. I think it's going to be. At times becoming unplayable. Down the wicket comes Ashwin. He's got a leading edge as he's trying to hit over the top, and he has cleared mid-off. Down to mid-on rather. Stuart Broad chases it down from mid-on to long on, and has he successfully scooped that ball back before he clattered into the boundary triangles? I'm not sure.
Let's ask Kohli.
Virat
He can tell
Kohli will
us.
help us. Well,
good effort.
he thinks he's scooped it back before he's... yes, I think he has.
Oh,
It's a
well
very,
fielded.
very good effort, you know.
Well, it is, but look at the angle of his body as he... Oh, dear me, as he gets over the rope. We've seen injuries like that before. Great commitment from Stuart Broad. What is he now, 34? 34 years old? Good bit of fielding. Keeps himself fit. Not having to bowl much this test match, but he's been busy in the field of late.
Well, he hasn't had a ball in the second innings.
Bowled 11 overs in the game.
He has, however, extended a world record that he holds. He's actually ripped his flannels on the left knee when he slid there. He's actually torn his whites as Jack Leach continues, and that one is steered again from very close to off stump down towards short third man by Virat Kohli. Stuart Broad is top of a list, and I wonder if you can guess what it is, Goffey. At the end of the over, 124 for 6 after 40 overs, England leading by 319.
Wearing a headband in consecutive test matches.
No. Stuart Broad, 36, and I'll give you the next 4 on the top 5. So Stuart Broad is top with 36, and then 22 Steve Waugh, 22 Marvin Atapatu, 20 Michael Atherton, 20 Daniel Vettori.
Ducks.
Yeah, what sort?
In test matches.
Ducks by players with hundreds.
Wow.
Obscure stat of the day for you.
There's a good stat.
Here is Joe Root once again, and it's outside the off stump, trying to run that down towards third man, and there's no run. India 124 for 6. The number of ducks in total is that record is still held by Courtney Wells at 43. Swept now nicely by R. Ashwin. He's hit that very sweetly, timed it nicely out towards deep backward square leg, and they run through for a couple. The score moves up to 126 for 6. India's lead 321. Hello, Bats.
Manners, very good work there from Jack Leach at square leg just behind. Got a really good hand on that, slowing the ball down.
Here's Joe Root continuing, and Ashwin pushes this against the spin into the offside, but straight to the fielder, no run. Virat Kohli has 29, and what a good 29 it's been. He was, I have to say, a little bit jittery and uncomfortable at the start of his innings for the first 15 or so, 20 balls. Ashwin now pushes this again defensively off the pad on the leg side, no run. Hello, Matt Pryor.
Hello, Manners. Yeah, I was just going to say, it's been an absolute pleasure watching Ben Folkes keeping wicket on this type of pitch, but to watch Kohli batting, crafting an innings.
Root in again, quicker delivery on off stump, defended by Ashwin.
It's been equally impressive. You bring the best out of player, well, sometimes the worst, but on a wicket like this, that at times looks impossible to bat on. To watch a player of Kohli's class go about his business has been amazing.
Here is Joe Root, and that is swept, sweetly struck, only as far as backward square leg where Jack Leach fields, but they do go through for a single, called quickly by Virat Kohli. 127 for 6, the lead is 322.
I love that, Matty. You used the word craft. I actually think, everybody's saying, is this surface fit for test cricket and so on and so forth, but we're actually seeing skill sets now that are just a different gravy. The workmanship, the craft, as you say, with the batsmen who are getting runs on this, the wicket keeper, some of the catching around the bat. We don't champion it enough. We just say, it's a rubbish pitch, it's turning, we should play on green seamers and all this sort of thing, it's better for the game. Actually, we should be saying, look, we're seeing skills that we don't always see come to the fore now, and actually I think it should be championed as opposed to as looking at it the other way.
No, I agree. I don't think anyone, I certainly haven't said that this has been a horrendous pitch. I think playing on spinning wickets is the right thing to do. I think if it's going through the top on day one, I think that's a bit unfair, but the fact that it's turning, you're exactly right. It brings out different skill sets, and if you have a look at Kohli,
Jack Leach continues now. He is looking a bit stiff and a bit weary. That's pushed up towards mid-off, no run.
As an example, how quickly the top players learn. Kohli came out first innings, he played a rash shot. He tried to drive a ball on the up to Moeen Ali.
Leach again, slip in a gully, or a slip in a silly point rather, and that's pushed defensively again, no run.
The one thing I'll be watching closely is he has not tried to drive a single delivery. Even when it's been really full, he's got a big stride in and he's blocked it, played it right under his nose, but he's not tried to attack off the front foot.
Leach again, and that's pushed uppishly back towards the bowler. It doesn't carry to him.
And that's why he's one of the best players in the world, and will be one of the best players that's ever played, is how quickly you can learn from a mistake you've made, then adapt your game to the surface and adapt to what's required. And that, quite frankly, is what the England batsmen are going to have to do. Let's see. Well, they're hiding to nothing, let's be honest, but let's see how many of them can come out second innings and adapt their games, find a way to score runs on this surface.
Here's Leach once again, looking to add to his 3 wickets and a slog sweep, and he's hit that nicely as R. Ashwin, and it beats Moeen Ali at square leg, and it's into the boundary for 4. Well played sweep shot from R. Ashwin. He moves on to 18. He's having a lengthy conversation between deliveries with his captain. I don't know what Virat Kohli might have said to him, but it could have been play some shots. Too defensively.
Exactly. No, I think Kohli would be saying, "Don't die in the hole, mate." on this wicket, rather go out. We're so far ahead of the game. Rather have a go. Take the attack to the bowlers.
Here's Leach once again, and slightly too short and whipped away out towards deep mid-wicket. Moeen Ali runs around from deep square leg, which is where he stayed after the previous delivery, and he keeps them down to 2.
We'll go back to the skill sets. What a shot this is from Ravi Ashwin. The ball spinning away from him. He gets across to off stump and hits into the spin, into that mid-wicket area. Such a high-class, high-skilled shot. Only gets 2 for it because of where the field is placed in front of square. Beautiful shot.
133 for 6. India lead by 328, and that's unplayable. That Leach turn and bounce, whizzing past the outside edge. And Ben Folkes takes it up by his right shoulder and makes it just look so easy. Jared Kimber.
I asked you a question before, Bats, and sadly, straight afterwards there was a wicket, so we didn't get to talk about it. Kohli averages 50 when the ball spins into him and 100 when it goes away. I wouldn't say the ball spinning in is a weakness if you're averaging 50. But what do you think is it about his technique that allows him to be so much better when the ball's spinning away than normal batsmen are?
I think it goes back to how you would line up to a seamer to an extent. The ball swinging away from the bat, you try and get across to off stump, and you try and play with a full face. So then when the ball's straighter, you're coming into the sort of outswinger, as it were, trying to take the outside edge of the bat out of the equation. And I think that's what he does brilliantly against the left arm spin of Jack Leach. He hits into the spin. And he picks length very quickly, so the ball that everybody else is trying to hit across the spin and getting return catches and hitting the outside edge of the bat, he doesn't do it. He waits for the ball to be underneath his eyes, like Matty said previously. But I think that's a far easier technique for him.
Joe Root continues around the wicket to Virat Kohli, pushing out square of the wicket on the offside. 133 for 6.
So the reason why that becomes a little bit harder from an off spinner when it's turning a lot, actually he's getting across to off stump, he's cramping himself the whole time. So the ball, literally the areas you can hit it, is getting cramped the whole time. So you end up playing with more half a bat and getting trapped in at short leg or in and around the sort of gloves and the pad in that dangerous area.
Root again. Kohli defends once more, pushing square of the wicket on the offside. You know, we often talk about, well, you experts talk about batsmen having a clear game plan, how they want to play the spin, how they are going to cope with defence, and how they're going to make scoring opportunities. Root in again. Kohli whips it out towards mid-wicket. And by and large, batsmen have a preference. Either they're going to try and get forward, get onto the front foot, try and smother the spin, or they're going to play it as late as possible. They're going to prefer to go onto the back foot, play it off the pitch. Generally, I mean, it doesn't mean to say that they limit themselves to one or the other. Get back and across and work the ball with the spin on the leg side, which is what Virat Kohli does here. Whips it out towards deep mid-wicket, fielded by Dom Sibley. They go through for 1, and Kohli is satisfied with that. I think it just seems to me that it's evidence of what an all-round batsman Virat Kohli is. When you say what is he? Does he have a preference? Or he's actually just such an all-round batsman against the spinners that he's not. You can't say that he's one or the other as a preference, is he? His all-round skill has been remarkable. He's picking up length so quickly from the hand. Sweep shot, top edge. Oh, a very, very well timed top edge. It's 4 behind square on the leg side. Yeah, I think definitely the last conversation between Virat Kohli and R. Ashwin has resulted in Ashwin predominantly playing the sweep shot, but attacking and looking for runs. He moves on to 24.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's coming out with a massively overt aggressive intent. He's just played very nicely, and we find quite often that the more positive you are in your foot movement, the better positions you get to. So you're looking to score, you do move better, you address the ball more, and he's played this sweep shot as he's done here. Just pitching probably about middle and leg stump, probably turning down, allows him to get his arms free and hit behind square.
Ruth again, forward comes Ashwin this time, outside the off stump, and there's no run. 43 overs gone, India 138 for 6, Ashwin 24, Virat Kohli 30, and the lead is 3-3-3.
That's a good point you make, Pats, and you talk about batting and partnerships. That's something that you look for from your batting partner. Sometimes if you're not moving so well, that's what Kohli's done. He's obviously gone down to Ashwin and said, come on mate, you're looking a bit too defensive for my liking. Let's get lively, try and take the attack, get moving, let's get positive. Suddenly Ashwin's moving, as you say, he's moving better, he's moving more footwork's more crisp, and therefore he's timing it better, getting runs away, and he's off and running. But that's from your partner at the other end coming down and giving you that bit of advice that helps your game ultimately.
Right, 20 minutes to go till lunch. Sorry, Mark Nicholas to describe it to you.
Thanks, Matt. It's lead of 333 now for India. Who made that score?
Graham Gooch.
Very good. Gareth Batty. He no miss a trick.
It's my hero. I had all the 3-3-3 kit.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Oh, we're ball. Very straight. Jack Leach getting good loop on that ball as well. And it hitting everything really, bit of a pad, a bit of tummy perhaps, and dropping down safely anyway. Kohli survives, and the umpire wasn't interested, and neither was Joe Root interested in a review. Kohli on 30 now. Little mini masterclass from Kohli, and an enjoyable innings from R. Ashwin, who has 24, and Kohli forward, pushing out onto the offside. Even Kohli struggled to get going. Fact, he was many balls, I think 20 balls before he got off the mark, maybe 21. And you just have to hang in there when the ball's doing this much on such an interesting surface. You have to hang in there. I say it's interesting as he goes back and defends, because if you do, like Folkes did, like Pope did, like Kohli is, obviously if we go back to the match, like Rohit Sharma and Jinkarani did, then you can make runs, but you need a bit of luck and you need an awful lot of patience. That time Kohli was very solid with his straight bat, as he is now on the front foot. So back foot, front foot, feet moving well, head in a great position. Always been one of the things about Kohli. I've never seen anybody as good with their head as Sachin Tendulkar, but Kohli isn't far from it. Eyes nice and level. Sachin never fell over to the offside, ever, never. Here's Leach again. Back goes Kohli, and he defends on back foot. Kohli had problems outside off stump against James Anderson, around off stump, swinging the ball in England in 2014, and went away to work on that and got it much better, not perfect, but better for 2018 when he was back in England. Here's Leach again, and he goes forward and defends on the front foot. So pretty tidy over that from Jack Leach, 138 for 6. One thing, guys, I've got Matt Pryor and Gareth Batty here, but about this is, we're in a studio, and there are 7 of us, and I tell you what, I mean, Goffey's not in here right now, but we sit here and watch every ball, don't we? You don't go for a wander or a yarn or get stuck into the papers or anything. You watch this cricket because you really do expect amazing things to happen.
It's fascinating. There's something happening all the time, and it's what I sort of mentioned to Matty a couple of overs ago. People are saying, should we play on these surfaces? Is it fit for Test cricket? Yes, it is, because the skill sets are just incredible. The guys that come to the top on surfaces like this have a skill set that we don't see as often as possibly we once did. and I think it's fascinating.
I heard that comment of yours, and I was going to follow up by saying to you, your implication is that perhaps this isn't a terrible pitch.
I think what Murray alluded to was, as long as it's not bouncing through the top, it becomes playable if you have a good skill set and if you are patient enough and prepared to get stuck into the game. I think when it's sort of bouncing through the top and turning, then it is unplayable. I don't know, what do you think, Matty?
No, that's exactly the point I was trying to make. I think the consistency of the bounce is something that's crucial. I have no issue with the ball turning. It's a facet of the game. We love watching, high quality Shane Warne, Muralitharan, these guys, high quality spin bowling, Ravi Ashwin. And batsmen, that is a skill set that you have to learn. How you play good quality spin bowling. You can't just walk out and expect it to be flat. No difference if it's swinging or seaming. But if it was swinging and seaming and going through the top and the bounce was inconsistent, I think then there is an issue. And that's the only thing I'd say about this pitch. From day one, there's been an inconsistency of bounce. But the spin and the turn, but absolutely no issue.
But how many pitches have you seen then that have really spun? Maybe not this much, but close to this much, that haven't gone through the top. Isn't one a corollary of the other?
I think that's a fair point. I suppose the mere fact that the top is dusting, that you're going to have that inconsistency.
I mean,
bounce,
even on the old wet pitches when it spun, it took pieces out. I mean, there's not much you can do about that to get real spin in the surface. You get the odd dry, dusty thing that holds together all right, but
I think we're seeing extremes of surfaces nowadays, aren't we? Because groundsmen are trying different clays from different parts of the world in their area rather than sticking to what was natural to the area. So you get massive turners or you get raging seamers or whatever it might be. I think we see the extremities of surfaces now.
Now retired and not having to bat on it, I'd much prefer a wicket surface like this than one that's 600, plays 550, plays nothing, and
well, there's an interesting call. That's another debate. Wow. Here's Stuart Broad into the attack, steaming in now, and Ashwin is back and plays a beautiful leg glance. Oh, that is quality batting, matched by one of my favourite cricketers, Jack Leach, who throws himself around the boundary, makes, well, the stop that you'd expect of an Olympic athlete. So fantastic was it. He threw himself at the ball, gathered it in, got up onto his feet and winged it in, and he did it all. I don't know. We're watching the replay on television. It looks as if his fingers are in touch with the ball and his knee in touch with the rope, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does a little bit. Does he get rid of it? Oh, I don't know. I think it might just be four. I think it's just touching his hand as his knee slides into the rope. A great effort, all the same.
I don't know about you guys. Up until this game, I thought, third umpire job, what a gig that is. It's the easiest job in the game. How difficult is it? I don't have a clue whether his knee's touching the rope or not.
No, I think in these ones, though, you should lean in favour of the batsman. If the television camera isn't conclusive, lean in favour of the fielder, sorry. For the sake of cricket and its experience, the entertainment you get from brilliant outfielding, I would lean, it's been called a four, and that's probably right. I'd say there was enough evidence to say he was just touching that rope, as I felt there was with the Ben Stokes one. I just don't think Ben had any idea he was in contact with the rope. Anyway, it's all gone. And now Ashwin's moved to 28. What an innings. 142 for 6. Broad again. Now, I haven't been able to explain what's going on here as Ashwin goes forward and pushes it to flies off the face of the bat, actually, to backward short third man. Broad is into the attack. Ben Foakes is standing up to the stumps, and Broad is going to look to bowl mainly cutters. That's why Foakes is up. They want to see if he pitches full into all the rough, will he get purchase from his cutters? At the moment, I don't think he's tried one. He's bowled 2 balls at more like his normal pace. It's a real challenge for Ben Foakes up there. That's a good ball on a good line and length, and is defended safely to, actually I won't call it short third man, I'll now call it deep gully.
Matty, after lots and lots of years keeping to Brodie, 1, have you ever stood up to him? 2, how's this going to go down with Brodie and his ego, maybe with the keeper standing up?
I think it's probably Brodie saying, I think you should come up to the stumps. And I would have responded, I think you should bend your back.
Very good. Very good. I think he just wants a bowl, so he said, Captain, I'll bowl you some cutters. Here he comes again, and he bowls on a good length, bangs it so actually just back of a good length, perhaps. And it's very straight, and it hits the splice of Ashwin's bat. Go on, Matty.
I mean, Broad, he'd be grumpy, wouldn't he? He'd be saying, "Oh, I should be bowling. No point bowling seam on this wicket. Just may as well bowl spinners." Okay, Root, if you want me to bowl, no, I'm only bowling cutters. No point. So get on with it, Broady. Bend your back. I'm not coming up.
First ball was only 118, so that might have been a cutter or a loosener. That last ball, the last two round the 130 mark. Out! No, dropped! Ben Stokes at slip. Flew to him quickly to his left side, which is difficult with the keeper standing up, which is why I don't like it for seamers, by the way. And he dropped it. Shame. That is a bad blow for Stuart Broad. Good ball, good length, good line, all that.
It was a beautiful bit of bowling. Just looked as though it left Ashwin a little bit, almost through the air rather than the sort of leg cut that he had bowled previously. But Ben Stokes is so close. Actually, seeing the replay, it was leg cutter. Ben Stokes is so close. It's almost hit him before he's reacted.
Yeah, he is close. My gosh, he is. Oh, it's another beauty. Oh my goodness me, another leg cutter that spits. I used to say like fat out of a frying pan. And you can't get out of the way of it, and you ruin the stove.
I tell you what, Stuart Broad has reinvented himself. He's almost like Anil Kumble here, just bowling these cutters. It's rapid, direct, bouncing, spinning a bit. It's unbelievable.
It's quick though. It's 100 and late 120s, isn't it? I mean, it's heck of an over that was. Ben Folkes did well to stop that final ball of the over. Anyway, it's over, and it's 143 for 6 with Ashwin on 29 now from 32 balls. Kohli's worked very hard for his 30. 74 balls out there, but India have a commanding lead. If you've woken up and heard the score and suddenly thought, oh, do England have a chance, it's worth remembering that so big was the first innings advantage that India now lead by 338. It's a lot of runs. In fact, TV's just shown a replay of the drop catch and it from side on, and it shows us how close Ben Stokes was. I mean, the vast majority, I would say, 70% of slip fielders wouldn't even got a hand on it and would have just flown down to the third man boundary. He parried it a bit like a goalkeeper, but still led it into the net. It reminded me of Hugo Lloris last week. No, against Everton, was it? When was it? Anyway, 143 for 6 then, as Joe Root comes into the attack, so it's all change.
Nice, Ritzy, well done, Ritzy.
Joe Root has bowled well in this series when he's bowled. We've got Broad and Root, and it seemed for ages we had Leach and Moeen Ali. It's well played. He bowls round the wicket, and that defensive shot earns a single because there's a space behind square on the offside, whereas the one before was hit straight to a fielder. Yeah, Joe's bowled well because he always tries to spin the ball. He's got a lot of confidence. He fires it into the surface mainly, and he's got a batsman's brain, so he can often outthink his opponent. 144 for 6. Kohli on strike to Root. Captain versus captain. He goes back to over the wicket. Kohli goes forward and defends a good ball nicely. It rolls down. Ben Folkes picks it up. Ben Folkes always looks balanced and stylish. Doesn't make any part of the job look ugly, awkward, hard, nothing like that. That's straighter from Root, and that's a beautiful little flick of the wrist. My goodness. Well, it's going to be 4. What a shot. It's only beaten Moeen Ali by a yard, and Moeen is chasing it to the boundary and having no chance. So he got a ball just outside off stump. Very fine, down to really fine leg for a boundary. He moves to 34. We've seen much of Kohli's range in this innings, and very often it's his wrist work that most thrills the viewer. Yes, he's technically sound, and yes, he's mentally strong, but that wrist work, offside and leg side, helps him find gaps and reach parts that other beers can't. 148 for 6 as Root bowls again, and that's pushed down to long on, who's back for a single. Now they're flowing nicely, this pair. This has been a heck of a partnership. It's gone along at a good lick. And the lead's 344, extinguishing hope for England. When the lead was sort of 270, there were 5 down, you were thinking, well, you know, amazing things happen, ridiculous things happen, surprising things happen. Now you're beginning to think, how long can England bat for? Joe Root bowls round the wicket at Ashwin, who blocks it towards short mid-wicket. There's no run, 149 for 6. Ashwin 30, Kohli 35.
Incredible session. We just got some numbers flashed up on the screen. 95 runs in 28 overs with 5 wickets. I mean, runs still can be scored on this surface, but you can also take some wickets. I think it's been a fascinating game, how it's ebbed and flowed between bat and ball. At the minute, bat is very much in the ascendancy, and this looks a great partnership, and it just shows it once you get in and you've allowed your skill sets and your process to take over, then it becomes a little bit easier, having the confidence just to knock the ball into gaps, manipulate the field. And from being in such a position of strength this morning, England's first hour was all England taking the early wickets, but India, with that massive deficit that England are facing already, just coming back into it with the bat.
Yeah, just to advance that view, Gareth, 43 runs have come in 10 overs. Broad now, taken by Ben Stokes, left alone by Kohli. 43 in 10, I'd say, on this surface without losing a wicket is good batting, isn't it?
Amazing, and it's just something. Is it the period in the game between 40 and the new ball, 40 overs on, that it becomes a little bit easier for batting? And that's something. Can England target that? Can we get to the 40th over without a lot of damage? That'll be the difficult bit.
Yeah, Jared was talking about 30 overs being the starting point of that little change in the balance of power.
I've just looked up the stats actually to go into it. So between the 30 over and the 60 over mark.
Broad again, bowling well. Broad as Kohli goes forward and defends. Broad's really steaming in, trying to cut the ball. That ball was at 133 kilometres per hour. It doesn't sound fast, but believe me, it's plenty fast enough, particularly if he's running his fingers down the side of it to cut it, and that requires great control. He's I think a much improved bowler actually this last year and a half. I think both he and Anderson have improved their all-round abilities. It's banged into the surface and it forces Kohli back, and he defends down into the gully. This isn't to say they weren't any good 2 years ago, the two of them. They were outstanding, but I think they've just mastered a wider range of skills, perhaps is the way to put it. We've got a shot of the commentary box on the television screen now, and in the middle of the 3 commentators is Sunny Gavaskar, one of the great men and great players, with him Lakshman Shivaramakrishnan and Murali Kartik. Left alone by Virat Kohli and nicely taken by Ben Stokes outside off stump. And in the line of Indian batting, you go, in the modern era anyway, in our lifetimes, you goes Gavaskar, Tendulkar, Kohli. You've got Dravid in and about there. Virendra Sehwag for entertainment. They're the 3, aren't they, that are considered the masters of the art. Played on the back foot again. No run out to cover. I just want to make mention, just for the enjoyment of it, VVS Lakshman.
Well, that was the name I was going to throw at you.
Oh, is it? Okay,
yeah.
go, there we go.
Yeah, I was going to add Lakshman into that mix. But I think you're right. It's Gavaskar, Tendulkar, Kohli, isn't it? Are the sort of top 3 if we're going, certainly from an Indian perspective.
Yeah. So,
but then what order would you put them in?
Yeah. Okay. I'll think about that for a minute. Yes. Played beautiful forward block off a good ball. Fine over from Broad and very well played. 2 top-class cricketers. A lot of heavyweights in this match, and those are 2 of them. It's the end of the over, 149 for 6, the lead 344. There was in Gavaskar's time only Gundappa Vishwanath had as much natural ability. He was a very wristy, gifted little player, but he didn't play the substantial innings in the way that Gavaskar did. Mahinda Ramanath was a wonderful player of the short ball. Dilip Mansaka was a very good player. Mohammad Azharuddin was a thrilling player to watch. India have had a line of them. A lot of modern Indians argue for Rahul Dravid, maybe not ahead of Tendulkar, but alongside him, for his technical ability and his ability to play the innings that mattered. Virender Sehwag was one of the great attacking players in the whole history of the game, end of story. Virat Kohli's been the sort of the modern master in a way, because he's been dominant in all three formats, which I think is so difficult to be when you think how much that takes out of you with the amount of cricket played and the pressure on. I noticed the pressure on Virat Kohli even in the IPL. We have another change here. Dan Lawrence is coming into the attack with his off breaks, replacing Joe Root. He's not bad at them at all, actually, but it's a different thing bowling in a test match in India. At least he's got a pitch to bowl on. So it's Ashwin on strike, and he lands one and it spins, and somebody appeals for something. It's a brilliant one-handed take by Folkes, wasn't it?
From Ben Folkes. I'm going to keep going on about him, but I mean, this is spun from outside off stump, just outside off stump, stayed quite low, and it's missed leg stump by about a foot. And Ben Folkes is. Are they going for a review?
Well, it's the we may as well. There was an appeal, you see, so someone think it skimmed the edge of his bat down the leg side. So England have appealed. It's been turned down, so England have reviewed.
Well, if this is given, it's the best catch I've ever seen in my life.
Okay, review for caught behind, confirming.
One-handed, stood up to the leg side.
Review for caught behind, fair delivery. Umpire has given not out. Give me the best front on.
Well,
one more time. Keep rolling, keep rolling. There's a big gap. Keep rolling, keep rolling, keep rolling. Yeah, go to the on-field umpire. Nitin. No. Go to the on-field, Nitin. Stay with your.
I have to. It is not out. I have to tell you that the bat and the ball were barely in the same postcode.
They reviewed that for the take.
Yeah, he just wanted you to wax lyrical for another few minutes about it. He knew you were on comms.
So England have one review left, but Root knows it's largely irrelevant, I think. Dan Lawrence again. Well, there's proof he spins it. Anyway, he bowls again now from, oh my gosh, that's a full toss. And Kohli's as surprised by it as me, and Ashwin is, and there's no... Oh, there is a run. He sprinted the single, did he? He did. We're seeing it was a great take. We're just watching it again. So what happened? He goes with one hand down the leg side with his left hand, and it hits absolutely dead centre, soft point of the gloves. It was a brilliant bit of work. He's had a fine morning, as Ben Folkes. Here's Lawrence again. There's the line, outside off stump. Kohli forward, and a single out onto the offside. Kohli 31. Ashwin 31, I should say. Kohli 36. Television camera showing the faces of Root and Chris Silverwood, the England coach, and they're laughing at the absurdity of the review in the end of it. That's a little wide of off stump from Lawrence, and it's quite full, and as Ashwin goes forward and squeezes his drive out to point, the ball fairly shoots away, and the chase is done by Ollie Stone, and returns off balance from the boundary. Ashwin gets 3. India fairly cracking along now. We had a period this morning, if you've just woken up and switched on, a period where India were wobbling badly. Wickets were tumbling, there was drama every second. And now they've got away with a partnership, a really good partnership around the 50 mark between Virat Kohli and R. Ashwin. And umpire Nitin Menon is just having a dig at Virat Kohli for running on the pitch. He's saying, get off the pitch. And Kohli's saying, I'm not running on the pitch. I'm running alongside the danger area.
If this was rugby union now, you'd be going back 10 metres. You just would not be able to speak to the referee like that. He gets away with murder, Kohli.
In again comes Lawrence, that's his best ball, and Kohli tries to work it leg side, but misses it, hits it pad and loops up in the air. And we've just seen the replay of where Kohli is running, Matt. Oh, well, let's do it after this ball. Hang on, because it's the end of the over. 154 for 6. Virat Kohli on strike to Dan Lawrence, who's bowling. There's a surprise as well. Leach and Moeen Ali had control for a long time this morning. Kohli goes forward and drives. Nice stroke, didn't time it. Ollie Stone's done a lot of fielding today, chasing that one. And there's 2 more to Kohli. It's the end of the over. He has 38, Ashwin has 34. It's 156 for 6.
Yeah, I think Kohli actually got a warning there from the umpire. We'll have to clarify that. But yeah, I mean, he's running down one side of the pitch. He calls through. They're pushing hard for 2, and for no reason whatsoever, he touches other than to destroy the wicket. Obviously, he touches down, runs right across the middle of the pitch, and ends up going back for 2. The big point here is I don't know why he did, because there's enough in it, isn't there? But
well, they've come off. They're walking off the field. It's lunch, I will tell you. But go on, Gareth. I know you wanted something.
No, just adding to it. It's like when you catch the little one with a hand in the cookie jar, but they turn around and say, "I did not do that. I'm not eating a biscuit, Daddy," and there's crumbs coming out of the mouth. You kind of like, well, Virat, come on, pal.
Okay, well, there's a few things to say, aren't there? We'll do the session in a second. I mean, the most obvious one is most of us have done it. I think the game, and Gareth is hiding cover in his shame there.
You've never heard these two more quiet than when you said that.
So let's just chill out on Kohli for a second. Anyway, fascinating morning's cricket. That, my goodness, 30 overs, masses of runs, masses of wickets. In the end, one has to say, actually, it's gone India's way, which seems incredible that England played so well for that period when they took 5 wickets, and it's this partnership between Ashwin and Kohli that has really changed the nature of the morning so dramatically. The partnership worth 50, and it's come in quick time. 11 overs. You know, it's pretty impressive batting. Ashwin 34, Virat Kohli 38, but it's such a huge advantage. I mean, how many are they in front? I'm trying to get that figure. At the moment, I can't. 156 for 6 is the score. The wickets going today: Rohit Sharma, Pujara, Rahane, all these huge names, Pant, Akshar Patel, and they've all gone. But this partnership of 50 between R. Ashwin and Virat Kohli, I repeat, completely changed the balance of the morning, and I would therefore give it to India. Leach 3 for 63 and Moeen Ali 2 for 46 are the wicket takers. They bowled pretty well, steadily at the odd bad ball. They bowled better than in the first innings, and they made life extremely difficult on a very difficult pitch for the Indian batsmen until Kohli got settled, and now I've got the lead. 351 is India's lead. Wow, with 4 wickets in hand going into lunch on the 3rd day, that is some performance by India.
It certainly is. It's so dominant position. You just can't envisage England ever getting 350. I'm the eternal optimist, but I mean that on this surface with the ball doing what it's doing, I just think it's nigh on. If there is such a situation of impossibility, I think this is pretty much it now. But I think England this morning, they started so well that first hour. I really do think the spinners bowled well. You know, they deserve the rewards of the wickets. They put India under some pressure. We asked for a reaction from England. We got it. I think that was brilliant. This was inevitable that they would get a partnership at some point, I think, really, just to take the game away from us. But we can certainly take some heart, and we can say, look, you know, we made it hard for them for an hour, and we have to take that into our batting in the last innings of the game.
Yeah, certainly. I think we look at the game now, but the damage was done first innings, wasn't it? I think England, we've spoken about it a lot. England didn't bowl well enough in that first innings. India got far too many, put a lot of pressure on the England batting. Yep, certainly this wicket's doing a lot. Probably England should have got more in their first innings, absolutely. But okay, England now, what do? They are so far behind the game. It's highly unlikely, near on impossible for them to win it. But what I would like to see is if they do come to bat today, how do their batsmen adapt? We watch Kohli, the master, showing what he learnt from the first innings. He made a mistake, played a rash shot in the first innings, but what he's learnt from how to bat on this pitch. Now, what can the England batsmen do that? A couple of them made mistakes, played rash shot or the wrong shot, I believe. Can they come out this next innings, where they win, lose, whatever, and get some runs, work out a way to get a score on this pitch and adapt their game. Because you've got to look at for the rest of the still the series is alive. They want to take some form and some confidence into the next test matches. So the ability to adapt is a requirement of this level. And England have got some fabulous players, and I expect them to be able to adapt to it.
Okay, thank you boys very much. The only thing I'd say, which is a real dampener, but the only thing I'd say is that if you were being asked to score 351 to win a test match in the fourth innings, it would be a challenge not often achieved in the history of the game on a good pitch.